What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense. We do not have a moment to waste because if you've been here, you know these transcripts are no joke. So, like the intro plays, we got like the video as the intro plays. We got a lot to get into.
Was listening to Make It Make Sense. Shout out to Make It Make Sense.
It makes sense.
Make it make sense to me intellectually.
It makes sense.
Yo, look at your man French Montana's feet. Hell, stop, bro. Yo, you got some pretty
Big moves.
surfer. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dreams. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
Hey, yo, Diddy.
Meek, I'm in here. Meek. Meek, come in here, come in. Close that door behind you.
Yo, where everybody at?
This is everybody.
Hey, you bugging, I'm out.
You know, we ain't never really party together.
What you mean?
Welcome to the Diddy Club, Bad Boys Edition.
Okay, guys. So, I got some good news. I have officially found my apartment for New York. And there might be some even better news. I just have to wait till it's confirmed. I don't say anything until something is actually confirmed. But yeah, I'll be staying in Dumbo. Hold on. Let me make sure. I don't want to show this. Let me download this first. And then we got, if you have been here for the last two videos, you know we've been on Deontay Nash. Just to give you a brief synopsis of what it has been like in the courtroom between Deontay and Xavier, the defense attorney.
I hope you get it together.
I hope you do so.
Oh, girl. Is there anything else you want?
That's it was the best so far. Deontay really does not seem to give a damn. Let me see. So this is the one. Here we go. Yeah, so the apartment is really nice. It's less than the hotel, but much larger. It's literally I don't want to describe it too much. I'll let you guys see it when I get there. It's actually a really nice apartment and it's really spacious. So I'm super excited. And again, it was less than the hotel. So I will definitely be there on Monday. We're skipping directly to the cross exam. Apparently, Deontay dropped more bombs. Let me see. What you're looking at is before the trial starts. Typically, the defense and the prosecution are fighting in court. Sometimes the judge is actually super annoyed because it's like they fight into minutia, and he's like, "You guys are saying the same thing," but neither one of them wants to give any like leverage or leeway, I should say. Okay. Here we go. Welcome back, members of the jury, Mr. Nash. Oh, and somebody called me after the video and says that we should take a sip at least of the Molotov cocktail. I did not bring it back to that dude who was asking for it outside of the corner store. So I don't know. I've never had a 40 in my life. I don't know if this is going to mess up my throat while I'm up here trying to read these documents, but maybe we'll try it. Maybe we'll try it. Let me see. Don't drink it. Okay. Let's get to it. Welcome back. You do understand you're still under oath, yes. We're still with Xavier versus Deontay. Mr. Nash, good morning. Good morning. How you doing? Blessed indeed. So I want to put up on that screen, just for the parties, only Defense Exhibit 1806. Mr. Nash, do you recognize your telephone number? This would be a text message from you. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Mr. Nash, you know someone named Capricorn Clark? I know of her. Yes. And Miss Clark worked with Bad Boy and with you and with Cassie. Yes. In 2011, if you can recall, what was her role regarding Cassie? Capricorn did everything that I did after she left for the most part. She was base. She was her creative. In 2011, yes. So that was right before the mixtape. Yes, but she didn't work on that at all. No, she was gone. When did she leave? I don't remember. But she didn't really work on the mixtape. What did she work on when she was there, if you recall? I forgot the last thing she worked on. Maybe the photo shoot that you guys showed yesterday. Do you know when she was there? Yes, she was. So what time period was that? Between 2008, 2011? Yeah. Something. Yeah. Between 2008 and 11? Yeah. And Capricorn was there and you were there as well. Yes. And you were all doing the same thing for Cassie? I will work with Capricorn, yes. Would you? I learned a lot from Capricorn, actually. And Capricorn returned. When did she leave? Sorry. Maybe like 2011 to 2012. And she came back in 2016 for a couple of weeks. And when she came back in 2016, what was her responsibility? What was her role at that time? She was helping with Love a Loser video. Did she, in fact? She, in fact, did Love a Loser video? Yes. And she also helped with she was with Cassie on the video sets, correct? Yes. Do you recall a picture with Cassie and green hair? Yes. And in that picture, strike that. That was her idea for the green hair, correct? No, that was a group idea. What do you mean a group idea? That was a group idea, group discussion. Between who? Cassie, myself, Capricorn, everybody. It was a group idea. I actually traveled with them to New York for that trip and walked the carpet with Cassie. So when you said you traveled to New York with Cassie in the group for that trip, yes. What trip are you talking about for the VMAs? So in 2000, what year was this? I don't remember. Was it 2016, 2015? Maybe. 14, 15, 14 to 16. All right. And when you say maybe, no, it had to be around Love or Loser because that was the whole thing. Ray, could you put up the government exhibit? I'm sorry, defense exhibit. Damn, Xavier. You don't know the dates. You don't know the dates. You don't know who he knows, who he doesn't know. You don't know the time frames. You don't know the exhibits. And this picture where Cassie has the dyed hair, correct? Correct. And this is the picture that everyone worked on, yes. And when you say everyone, this is the whole, you said. Yeah, Derek as well. Okay, so that she has the clothes, the purse, the jacket, the pants, all of that was specifically, I guess, put together look. Curated look, yes. You say curated? Yes. Thank you. Sorry. So this curated look was because you or the label wanted her to look a particular way, correct? Because she was going out to, this was a VMA look. Yes. So the label wanted her to look a particular way as she represents herself in the label at the VMAs. Yes. So this green hair, jacket, pants, Gucci bag was all specifically for a purpose. Yeah. To have a look, right? Yes. And did you all have to get approvals for that from somebody? Yes, from Puff. Right. So Mr. Combs actually approved that look. Yes. So before you all said we going to do this, you got this approval from Mr. Combs. Yes. I'm so glad that y'all are getting to see what we go through in the courtroom with some of these questions. You talked about an unfortunate incident where Cassie suffered a gash on her head. Yes. I believe yesterday you testified that when you and Mia were on Mr. Combs' back, he was still grabbing at her and assaulting her. Yes. And then while that was happening, he shoved Cassie and hit her head on the bed frame. Correct. And then I believe yesterday you said while she was bleeding on the floor, he kept kicking her and hitting. Yes. Now, we also mentioned yesterday that you have met with the government several times. Yes. Too many times to even remember. Yes. And just in fact, you met with them on July 2024. Yes. You met with them in March 2025. I don't remember the dates, but April 25 as well. I guess so. Yes. And on May 17, 2025, a couple weeks ago. Correct. And each one of those times you spoke about this incident. Yes. And not one of those times did you say that Mr. Combs was beating her or kicking her while she was on the floor bleeding, correct? They didn't ask. Well, they asked about the incident. Yeah, I gave as little as possible. Damn. Okay, let's discuss really quick. Cassie is still one of your best friends. Diddy was her abuser. Here is your chance to actually say what happened. And he is a great witness because he doesn't give a damn. And he's saying exactly what it was. He specifically did not give them any extra details, whether in these interviews or on the stand, unless they asked for it. I think he's a great witness. I think that from what I'm reading, he's giving off truthful. I haven't heard the man trip him up in a lie yet. So, you know, I'll allow it.
I said what I said. Okay.
That's the energy he's giving off. And it ain't changing over here.
I said what I said. Okay.
Yeah, I gave as little as possible. And you told him about the incident. I gave as little as possible. I only answered what I was asked. Well, when they ask you what happened related to the incident involving you, Mia Cassie, getting a gash in your head, you gave them information about that on July 24th. Yeah. And then they ask you about the incident where she got a gash on her head. You gave them information about that on March 19th. Okay. And they asked you about the incident again on April 28th, and you gave them information about the incident. Correct. And then again on May 17th, they asked you about this incident involving the gash on your head, and you gave them information. Correct. And that none of those 4 or 5 times did you say while he was on the floor, while he was on the floor, Mr. Combs kept kicking and punching her while she was bleeding. They never asked. Thank you, Kay Campbell. One thing that I was thinking about, Deontay has been, what would be the word? Not victimized by Diddy, maybe victimized, but I feel like he's been terrorized by Diddy. So he's probably thinking, I love Cassie, but if this man gets out of prison, he's going to do it to me again. So that probably plays a role in why he's being so stoic on the stand. They never asked. The first time you saying that a part is in court to the jury. No. Now you mentioned that between September 2009 and 2018, you and Cassie were good to best friends. Correct. And strike that. From 2000 to now, you're still good to best friends. Correct. That would be over 16 years. That's fair. Yeah. And I think you mentioned also yesterday that you spoke to her almost every day. Correct. Do you know someone named Kid Cudi? Correct. Now, those questions might seem innocuous, but I bet you he's trying to suggest that maybe this man is testifying on Cassie's behalf in this way because they are such close friends. Do you know someone named Kid Cudi? Correct. I'm sorry. I know of him, yes. You know of him, yes. You know that Miss Ventura was in. Sorry, I said that wrong. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. I know you're going to correct me. I'm sorry. Now, Deontay just got him without having to say anything. This is how you train somebody. This man knew he misspoke a word. He gave Deontay 3 sorries and then says, I know you're going to correct me. I'm sorry. So he got 4 sorries in total, and he corrected himself before Deontay corrected him. Diddy, if you are going to jail based on this testimony alone from Deontay.
And so clank to clank. Really? The bar soap? Yeah. You might want to help your husband.
Because this is not good. Yeah, okay. Deontay really has him on the run. I know you're going to correct me. I'm sorry. You know that Cassie was in a relationship with Mr. Kid Cudi, correct? Yes. And you know that she was in a relationship with Kid Cudi while she was in a relationship with Mr. Combs. Okay. That's a yes, correct? I didn't know that. You didn't know that she was in a relationship with Mr. Combs at the same time she was in a relationship with Kid Cudi? No. To my knowledge, her and Mr. Combs were broken up. She told you that her and Mr. Combs had broken up. No, the team, people on the team said it. So Cassie never told you that her and Mr. Combs were broken up. Someone else told you that. Is that a yes? Correct. Damn, Deontay, we got to get through this. He tells the man to say yes, and Deontay is going to say correct. We got to get through this, Deontay. We got to get through this. In 2015, Cassie was in South Africa. Do you recall that? Yep. How am I going to be serious if Deontay is not serious? And when we say Revolt Conference, Revolt is, I guess, a professional web. It's an entertainment conference. An entertainment company? Conference. Yeah. It was owned by Sean Combs. Correct. It was owned by Sean Combs back in 2015. Correct. So you were at the Revolt Conference as an employee of Mr. Combs in 2015. Correct. And the Revolt Conference was in Miami at the time. Yes. And you were with who? Who were you with at the Revolt Conference? I was styling. There to style Little Kim. So you were there to style Little Kim. Yeah. Who else was there with you? Who else was there with you, Little Kim and anyone else there? The whole team, Puff, everybody. But Cassie wasn't there. No. Cassie was in South Africa. Correct. And she was there in South Africa with Mia. Yes. And some other people. Correct. And she was doing what she was doing in South Africa. Shooting a movie. And she was shooting this movie as part. She was still signed to Bad Boy. Correct. And what was the movie? Honey. And so as an artist signed with Bad Boy, she was not only doing music, but she was also getting movie deals. She was able to do some. She was able to do some sometimes. So I guess I'm asking yes or no. Deontay is like,
That is I'm here for. That is I'm here for.
This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. It's just completely ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, Deontay. Get it together. Okay, Nate says way too cavalier and it's not funny. You're right. I need to get it together too. I need to get it together. You're right. It's I need to get it. I'm gonna get it together. She was able to do sometimes. So I guess I'm asking yes or no. Was she able to do movies while she was an artist signed with Bad Boy? Sometimes, yes. In 2015, this is one of those times that she was allowed to do a movie. Correct. And in order for her to be allowed to do that movie, Mr. Combs, as the owner of Bad Boy, had to sign off on that. Correct. So to button that, Mr. Combs signed off on a contract to allow Cassie to do a movie. Correct. Mr. Donaldson, yes, sir. Can you drive it home? Because, yes, I did hook her up with Michael B. I know where we are going with this. What just happened? Question. So to button that, Mr. Combs signed off on a contract to allow Cassie to do a movie. Correct. Mr. Donaldson. Deontay, you cannot ask him a question. What is happening? Deontay, can you drive it home? I'm sorry, hold on. I read that wrong. No, I think this is Deontay now asking Xavier, the defense attorney, a question. Can you drive it home? Because yes, I did hook her up with Michael B. Jordan. I know where we going with this. You can't do that. No. The judge. Hold on, Mr. Donaldson. Let's get a new question. Mr. Donaldson, okay. You are definitely not allowed to do that. Okay. So Mr. Nash, you hooked up with Michael B. Jordan, right? Indeed. All right. That is so weird. Maybe that's one of those things where they had to do some retractions and stuff, because that I can't believe that Deontay would have said that. But the question is, can you drive it home? Did the judge say that? And then Deontay came in with something's off there. I'm not putting that on Deontay. That would be so inappropriate. That would be very inappropriate. So Mr. Nash, you hooked her up with Michael B. Jordan. Right. Indeed. All right. He fine. She fine. I mean, why not? They were broken up. He was at the Revolt Music Festival. Deontay just said one thing is not like the other. Cassie is fine. Michael B. Jordan. He basically just said, Diddy, you are the one thing that does not fit in.
Not that cute. And your hair is uneven. You look dusty.
He basically just said, they look better together. You're old and dusty. I don't know. I don't know. He fine, she fine. I mean, why not? They were broken up. He was at the Revolt Music Conference with Gina. Okay. And I was getting threats to my phone because Cassie found out. Wait. The judge, Mr. Nash, let Mr. Donaldson ask questions. You give him the answers, and then we'll take it from there. Yes, sir. Oh, so he does know how to say yes. He just don't say it. He won't say it to him. To the judge, Mr. Donaldson. Yes. So let's talk about that. So you were in Miami at the Revolt. Let's break this down. Right. And Cassie was in South Africa. Correct. Wait, he just gave you the fact that he was being threatened. That would be my next line of questioning. Who threatened you? Was it Cassie or Diddy? And Cassie was in South Africa with Mia. Correct. And then it's your information that, not your information, but you observed Mr. Combs with someone else in Miami. Oh no. You're not putting that on me. That was another stylist named Icon Tips that texted her and said, oh girl, you look good coming out of the car. And she called me and told me, girl, is that girl Gina there? I said, I don't know. I ain't seen her because, Puff and Derek would keep me away when Gina was there. Never seen her or met Gina. And that's how it went. He's naming all kinds of names. So who is Icon Tips? Okay. So this is Icon Tips. So I wonder if they used Deontay for Cassie and maybe Icon Tips was styling Gina. Let's see if there's a photo of Gina at the Revolt Festival. Gina Hun. Gina Hun has become the most famous Gina. Even past the one on Martin. Gina Hun, Revolt Festival. No, we don't have any of her from the Revolt Festival specifically. Let's see. Okay, so another stylist called Cassie in South Africa and told her, thought she was in the picture that was posted. No, he thought he actually saw her with Puff. He thought he actually saw Cassie with Puff. Yes, but that wasn't Cassie. No, that was Gina. Yes. And when Cassie heard that, Cassie got mad. Yeah. Cassie got upset. She was like, well, why is he out in public with this girl? Correct? Yeah. Why does he keep humiliating me and trying to ruin my career is what she said. Okay. And she was mad. Yeah, she was pretty angry. Well, not really. And she communicate, and that was you and her talking about that. Correct. And so you told her at that point, listen, I could hook you up with Michael B. Jordan. No, that wasn't you. No, that's not how that happened. 1 second. Let me break it down. Hold on. So you said that you set her up with Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, but that's not how that happened. The judge. Hold on, Mr. Donaldson. Let's ask a question. And Mr. Nash, just answer whatever question is asked. Try your best just to answer that question, and then we'll keep going. Deontay, yes. Again, he tells that he's respectful to the judge. Let's see. Mr. Donaldson, let's go. You set her up with Michael B. Jordan, yes. Okay, and when you say you set her up with Michael B. Jordan, you meant that you introduced her to Michael B. Jordan, yes. And Mia drove it home by making sure she had the number. So let's talk about her. So Mia, that will be the employee of Mr. Combs, yeah. Drove the relationship home between Cassie and Michael B. Jordan, right. Michael B. Jordan, not Michael Jordan, yeah. You got that right. Oh, okay. He said drove the relationship home between Cassie and Michael Jordan. Deontay corrects him. Michael B. Jordan, not Michael Jordan. Yeah. You want to get that right. We've passed everything at this point. Deontay has said,
okay, we're going to follow this road all the way down. You're going to take a sharp left, okay, up here past this tree here, okay? Once you get up here, you're going to take another sharp turn. And over here, this is where you have me fucked up at. Right here in this place.
Okay, hold on. I learned from earlier, if I have a cookie, it works better. So I'm sure a cupcake would be even better. This is a lot of reading. Okay. Here we go. Back to Deontay. You will want to get that right. Yeah. Mia drove the point home between Cassie and Michael B. Jordan. Correct. So Mia, being an employee of Mr. Combs, was participating in breaking up Mr. Combs from Cassie. Would that be fair? Well, they were broken up. They were broken up. At that moment, yeah. Okay, and so 1 second. Michael, when we say setting up, Cassie began communicating with Michael B. Jordan. Correct. And fair to say, Michael B. Jordan began communicating with Cassie. Correct. And Cassie at this time was pursuing that relationship with Michael B. Jordan. Correct. Somewhat, yeah. She was trying to hook up with Michael B. Jordan. It was like a whatever, dating starting. They were dating. Yeah, talking, getting to know each other. 1 second, please. Do you know someone named Andre Branch? Do you know whether or not, isn't it true that Miss Cassie, the judge, Mr. Nash, you just have to answer yes or no. Sorry. No. Cassie was in a relationship with Andre Branch. Oh, the cute football player? Yes, the cute football. What is happening? This is a real court transcript. What is happening? Do you think that Deontay and Xavier are friends in real life? Is that where this is like coming from? What is really going on with Deontay and this man? They are having a full-on conversation. Let's reel that in. Cassie was in a relationship with Andre Branch. Oh, the cute football player? Yes, the cute football player. Oh, yeah, but I never met him. But you were aware that Cassie was in a relationship with Andre Branch. Yes. And this was when? I don't remember. Maybe like close to 2017. Are you aware of a person named Brandon from the NFL? So let's look at Andre Branch first. The fact that Xavier said, yes, the cute football player took me out. Okay, so this is Andre Branch. Cassie's 2017 man. I guess alongside Diddy, because Diddy was also 2017. Is it just me, or is this does this does this seem conversational? This is funny to me. I'm sorry. Are you also aware of a person named Brandon from the NFL? No. 2016, no. When I say are you aware, not do you know them, but are you aware that Cassie was in a relationship with someone named Brandon in 2016 while Capricorn was working there? No. I'm sorry. NBA. Wrong. I was wrong. NBA, not NFL. No. Still no? No. Can we put up 1806? This is a text message chain between you and Cassie. Yes. And this is where you're talking about her and the situation that's going on regarding Cassie and Michael B. Jordan. Honestly, I don't know. Let's go to the page 7. Now on the second line, you say, no one better not say shit to me. And the next thing you say is LY. What does LY mean? Love you. Love you knows everything. No. Wait, hold on. LY. Oh, I don't know. LY. Not love you? No, it says LY knows everything. I don't know what LY is. I think it's a typo. Okay, just be calm and ignore. That's you telling her to be calm and ignore what? I don't remember the context, but I'm sure we were being antagonized by your client. Isn't this about Gina and her being still upset about Gina? Honestly, she wasn't that pressed about Gina. Like when Puff will be with Gina, she would be like, all right, girl, it's time to go out. Like she wasn't that pressed about Gina. I think in the beginning, the issue with Gina was that Gina kept popping up and it was hurting her career with Puff running around with other women. Okay, so let's break that down. So when you said she really wasn't pressed about that when she saw her out with Gina, when she saw him out with Gina, she would be like, girl, let's go out and do our thing. Correct? Correct. And by get out and do our thing, she meant it's time for her to get out and have parties or date or do whatever she wanted to do. Correct? Not necessarily. She and I are both super chill. So we spend a lot of time at home to be quite honest. But when you said, girl, let's get out and do our thing, that's going to Toscanova. No, boo, nothing crazy. Why is this man like this? This is the definition of I don't give a fuck. Because now she felt like he was dating other women, so she can go out and do whatever she wanted to do. Correct? That is fair. Yes. Now we can take that down. You mentioned yesterday that Cassie did not want to go to hotels. Do you recall saying that? Correct. Now this is a text message between you and Cassie. Correct. The blue part is you and the green part is Cassie. Okay. Now, if you don't mind, I want you to read the blue part. I'll read the green part. Is that fair? Okay. You start. Go. Tron. Oh, y'all got people naming here. Tron Vaughn, put the D Squad shoes. Wait, it's two things. Start on the left and go to the right. Tron Vaughn, put the D squared shoes, Puff's garage right next to, by the door in front of some boxes. It's two pair to see which ones fit. Okay, thank you. Your turn. What you doing? About to go out of town for a couple days, getting my stuff together. Cute. Stop. So when she says about to go out of town for a couple days, getting my stuff together, that's her telling you she is about to go out of town to a hotel. No. Okay, keep going. Go to the blue. Where you going? No, I'm the blue, right? Yes. Where are you going? Secret trip, LOL. Girl. Me? I mean her. What? Go ahead. Nothing. I was just saying it. I'm going to a family barbecue. Mr. Donaldson. Okay, you can take that down. So when she says she's about to go someplace in the secret trip, she's going someplace, correct? Correct. And she's going on a secret trip somewhere, correct. And she didn't tell you where she was going, no, because she didn't want you to know where she was going. Probably didn't want to text it. Well, you didn't call her back and say, what's the secret trip? Where you going? I may have, or she may have just told me. Good friends don't like really pry like that. You know what I mean? So, And that's not my method. So when the good friends didn't pry, you didn't pry and ask her. Your response to a secret trip was what? I don't see it. What was it? Girl, yeah, that. What is turning in your mind? What does turning up much mean? I'm sorry, what does turning up too much mean? Going out too much. Mr. Donaldson, could you pull up the 1840? The judge, Mr. Donaldson, this is already in evidence. I believe it is. Is it not? I thought it was, Judge. It's not. It's in, Your Honor. It's in. Yes. Now that green part. Highlight the green part. This is Cassie telling you October 30th, 2013. This is after the incident with the cut on the face. The incident with the cut, yes. And so this part says, I already said I'm going to Puff if I can go out. I'm going to ask Puff if I can go out. But I've been turning up too much lately, which is true. You see that part? Correct. Already, I mean, does this help the defense? She's having to ask permission if she can go out. B. Mia is anonymous and her name is not to be doxxed. The feds are watching all of the YouTubers that are covering this case. I've already told people, including other content creators, this woman wants to remain anonymous. She did her part by testifying, but I can tell you that multiple people have already put her information out. So I'm not going to do it, Anna Nicole, but if they get in trouble for it, they get in trouble for it. They get in trouble for it. So when you just say turning up too much means going out too much, this was her telling you that she's been going out too much in October. Correct. Yeah, that's what it says. Okay, put that down, please. You also mentioned that you saw via FaceTime and near the time of her premiere when she was at the Intercontinental Hotel, Cassie, that you FaceTimed her and saw her with a black eye. Do you recall saying that? Is that a yes? Yes. Now, when you say you saw her with the black eye on FaceTime, you haven't seen a picture of this black eye around that time? No. You haven't seen a video of her with the black eye? No, but I saw it in person. You say you saw this in FaceTime with her. I'm sorry. You say you saw this FaceTime of her with the black eye? Yes, I saw it in person, and when her makeup would wear off, you can see it. She said she had a press week the whole week after. Mr. Nash, I'm going to stop you right there. Just let Mr. Donaldson ask the questions, and then you can answer the questions, and then let him ask the next one. Absolutely. Mr. Donaldson. Thank you, Judge. Can you put up the defense? Blah, 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 blah. This is her, a picture of her, correct. Could you go down to the next page? That's another picture of her on the top right, correct. I'm going to, if you don't mind, starting on the top right-hand side, I want you to read the blue parts, and I'll read the green part. He will not say yes. You start where it says that. That mug beat, though. And when you say beat, you meant beat between you and Cassie means good, nice. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Right? So you were telling her at that point in March of 2019, her face looked beat. Nice, though, right? Correct. And then she says always. And then you say what? What you doing? Then she says, oh my God, this nigga is wasted. We both did the same of everything, but he's tripping. You see that? Yes. Top right-hand side. Girl, just honestly, I tried to stop him from embarrassing himself, but I can't. Is it a lot of people there? Is it talking about Gwen Stefani's song? In this particular series, she is away someplace. Correct. This is 2000 and what? 2016. I don't know. Maybe she is. I don't know. Judging from your text chain, she is not. She is away with Puffy. Correct? This is the same. Yes. Yes. She's at a hotel somewhere. Correct? Yes. And this is one of those, she is away at a hotel and she didn't tell you that she didn't want to go to the hotel. Not this day. I'm sorry? I said probably not this day. And she didn't tell you that she didn't want to be there. Correct. Is it in this text thread? I'm asking you. I don't know, but she's telling me that several times. Yesterday, you also mentioned that Mr. Combs said he is going to leak photos and videos of Cassie. Correct. And you said you heard him say that. Yes. I believe you said in 2013 outside Cassie's apartment, he told Cassie in front of you that he would leak her videos. Correct. And I think this was in the same conversation where he said to you, you and Cassie take your broke ass home and ride to the sunset. I don't know why that's so funny to me, but that is funny. Take your broke ass home and ride to the sunset. Isn't that in the lyric, take your broke ass home? Oh, it's a Fergie song. So he's quoting Fergie? Okay. I could see him quoting Fergie. I'm sorry. This is the only thing keeping me afloat. I don't know. Y'all ever need a little sugar rush? This is literally what I was doing in court until they told me I couldn't. Notes and cookies. Notes and cookies. Yeah. Let me see. Yes, you and Cassie went back home after that. What do you mean? You went back after he said, take your broke ass home. You and Cassie left. Yeah, we rode out to the sunset. Deontay. You and Cassie went back home after that, correct? What do you mean? You went back after he said, take your broke ass home. You and Cassie left. Yeah, we rode out to the sunset. You then asked her what he was talking about, and she told you. You told her that she didn't need to worry because any photos of him would have him in them too. Correct. So at that point in 2013, when that conversation allegedly came up, you told Cassie, don't worry about it because any photos or videos must have him in it. Correct. Because it was your opinion that it was talking about videos and photos between her and him. Correct. You had no idea she was talking about videos of her and other men at that time. Correct. Until she told you that. Yes. She told you that in 2013. Yes. So the first time you heard from Cassie or knew about Cassie having any kind of involvement with other men and sex was in 2013. Yes. So between 2008 and 2013, you and Cassie talking every day about best friend stuff never mentioned anything to you about having threesomes with other men. People. Yes or no, Mr. Nash? No. That part of her life she kept secret from you. Yes. She also told you that she was concerned that there were videos from her phone. No. Mr. Donaldson, can we put up, and there's an exhibit. Can you read it? Can you take it down? Make sure I say it right, Judge, that she was concerned because the videos came from her phone. No, I told them that he would tape her on her phone. I didn't say anything about she was concerned because the videos were on her phone. I said he would tape her on her phone. Isn't it true that you told the government, the judge, hold on, you want him to read it again? Yes, please. Mr. Nash, take a second look. Take a look at it and then let me know when you're done. Okay, let's take it down. Isn't it true you told the government that Miss Ventura said the videos were from her phone? I said that he would record her from her phone, and I stand firm in that.
I said what I said, okay?
I wish he would have just said, I said what I said. And the videos were on the phone, correct? Correct. Can I have a second, please, Your Honor? You may. You also yesterday spoke about Cassie's 29th birthday party. Do you recall that? Yes. And that was a 29th birthday party. What year was that? Around 2016. Yeah. That particular birthday party was a multi-place birthday night. Would that be fair to say? Yes. When I say that you all went to different places that night, correct? And when I say you all, who all was there? Everyone went. Who was everyone? Puff, Cassie, everyone went, but they came after. Puff, Cassie, who else? A lot of people. Besides yourself, who? I don't remember. Derek was there. Most people from the staff. I'm trying to keep it together. Bonna was there? Yeah, she was there. Yeah. We have Bonna. You say Derek. You mean Derek Roche? Yes. You had yourself. Yes. You had Cassie. Yes. You had Mr. Combs. That's 5. It was tons of people. Yeah. Who else? I don't remember. And 2015 sounds better than 2016. It's ballpark. Now, the first part of the birthday party night began at a restaurant. Is that fair to say? Yes. What was the name of the restaurant? Cavatina. So you remember it was Cavatina. Correct. You remember it was the 29th birthday. Correct. And you also remember that it was a surprise birthday. Yes. So this was a surprise birthday party organized by you, by Mr. Combs. So the surprise birthday party was organized by Mr. Combs for Cassie. Correct. He knew about the surprise party then. Would that be fair to say? Yes, you already asked this man this question. Yes, it was a surprise party by Diddy. You've now asked 3 questions about Diddy being the person who threw it. I would be annoyed too if I was Deontay. Deontay probably went outside to smoke a cigarette like Kid Cudi. He then called you when you were at the restaurant and said he was coming over. Correct. No, he was there when we got there. He was in Miami. He called me from Miami and asked me should he fly back home. Sorry. He called you from Miami and asked you should he fly back home from Miami to come and attend this birthday party. Correct. He flew up from Miami to attend the party. Correct. You knew he was coming. Correct. Did you tell Cassie he was coming? No. You wanted him to surprise Cassie as well. Correct. Excuse me. Just so I'm clear, after the 2013 incident where the violence happened, 2 years later, you're at a birthday party. Mr. Combs is in Miami, and you tell him, he asked you, can he come? And you say, yes, please come. Correct. You don't tell Cassie that he is coming. Correct. Because you want Cassie to be surprised that her boyfriend is coming up to see her at the birthday party. Yes. Who wants to be a person that tells somebody the surprise? Nobody. When you left, I believe on direct, you said when you left the party, you heard Combs say, you can't do this one thing for me. Do you recall saying that? Correct. Now, like the other situation, you met with the government July 24, 2024, May 2025, May 17, 2025. Correct. And you spoke about this July 29th birthday party on July 24th. Correct. Each day they asked you what happened. Correct. Each day you told them. Correct. And on May 10th, you told them again what happened. Correct. And on May 17th, correct. And not one of those times did you say anything about, on the way out, he says, you can't do this one thing for me. I don't know. Also on direct, yesterday you mentioned that when you were at the Blind Dragon, you saw Combs with Cassie in a corner pointing in her face. Do you recall saying that? Yes. July 2024, you spoke with the government. Correct. You spoke about this birthday party. Yes. On May 10th, you did the same thing. Yes. May 17th. Correct. And not either one of those times did you mention anything about Mr. Combs in a corner with Cassie pointing in her face at the Blind Dragon. Correct. The first time you're saying that was at trial. I guess so. You just all of a sudden remember that? No. I gave them very little by phone. You also indicated yesterday that when you were at the house with Cassie, she said to you, Mr. Combs is making me go. Do you remember saying that? Yeah, she said she didn't want to. She didn't want to say it was her birthday. Yesterday, we also talked about, you mentioned that you were helping Cassie out with her styling for her testimony. Correct. You and Marnie? Yes. Marnie is here in New York? Correct. You were in LA? Correct. Because Cassie is one of your best friends, you were helping her pick out clothing that she was going to wear to come to court. Correct. Because again, she is still an artist or an entertainer, so that's important how she looks. Oh, no, that wasn't why. You wanted to make sure she looked good coming to court. No, she couldn't fit anything. She needed clothes. Because of the pregnancy? Yes. You wanted to get the right clothing for her pregnancy. Exactly. You wanted to pick out the stuff that fit her pregnancy. Correct. Now, I don't believe that. If you watched my coverage when I was live at the trial and Cassie was there, I felt like Diddy is wearing clothes that make him look less like a monster. He's wearing sloppy, wrinkled sweaters, very light colors, creams, yellows, and whites. Whereas Cassie wore power colors. She wore brown, she wore gray, and she wore things that had like a suit attached. So I felt like jury is supposed to see Diddy as somebody who is unassuming and old with gray hair, and he couldn't be doing these things. And Cassie, being in front of Diddy for the first time, needed to show power and dominance because she didn't have that in the relationship. So this, I don't believe. I think the clothes that they chose for Cassie towards the end of her testimony were spot on. I didn't really like the brown and yellow thing, but I get it. Yeah, the Bill Cosby stuff. And staying during trial, she was testifying. You would call her and ask her how she was doing. Yeah. Not about the case, though. Correct. You would make sure she was okay, but not about the case. Yes. So on her last day of testimony, that Friday after you finished, you spoke to her that day. Yes. Because that was her last day. And she called you and said, I'm done. That's it. It wasn't like that. No. But you did speak to her. Yeah. That Friday was May 16th, the last day she testified, and she was gone. Correct. Correct. Going back to making me, he said, making me go. Again, you talked about the government July 24th about this birthday party. Correct. You talked to him again on May 10th about this birthday party. Correct. On May 17th. Correct. And May 17th was the date after Cassie's last day of testimony. Yes. May 17th was the first day that you told him anything about making me go to a hotel. No. You didn't tell them in July. I don't know. You didn't tell them in May. I don't know. You didn't tell them in May 10th. We would have to pull the transcript. The first time you told him about Cassie telling you that he made her go to the hotel was May 17th, the day after Cassie finished her testimony, correct? It may have been something that they asked. 1 second, please, Your Honor. You also mentioned about this party. You said that Cassie was super high, correct? You said that Mr. Combs was intoxicated, correct? Did you get Cassie super high? Excuse me? Did you give... No. I did not. The judge. Hold on, Mr. Nash. Mr. Donaldson. But she was super high in the house. Correct. Was she getting high at the restaurant? No. Finally, about this 29th birthday party, you indicated that you and Cassie went into her bedroom and started packing a duffel bag. Correct. She started packing sex toys in that duffel bag. Correct. Now, if I was somebody's assistant, I think I'd probably draw the line at packing or touching your used sex toys and dildos and CLIT flickers and every other thing that Diddy had you doing with these people. I probably would not be touching that particular Louis Vuitton duffel. We're not that good of a friend. Nope. And this was in her bedroom, correct? In her house, correct? To be clear, she had in her house, in her bedroom, a duffel bag, and she had sex toys in that duffel bag, correct? And you helped her pack that, correct? And then she grabbed some cash, correct? And then she took the cash with her, yes. And it was $1,000. I don't remember. Well, she had cash in her house, correct? And she took that cash with her with the duffel bag, yes. Now, Mr. Combs didn't. Mr. Combs didn't tell her to grab a bag for the sex toys. That's what they came to the house for. That's not my question. When you were sitting there and you testified yesterday, you didn't hear Mr. Combs tell her, hey, go grab a bag full of sex toys. No. You didn't hear Mr. Combs say, hey, go grab some cash. No. She went and decided to go get the cash herself, possibly, to go on the golf cart to go someplace else. Yes. This was late at night. Correct. And this was her cash. Correct. I want to talk about Las Vegas. Now, those are poignant points. I mean, the points for the prosecution. Do I believe that Cassie technically knew the drill? She didn't want to do it, but she knew that this is what she needed to have the freak offs. Yes, he wants her to have cash. He's having her pay the escorts. But if I'm a juror and I have not read all of these civil lawsuits, this is a point for the prosecution. If I'm just a juror just listening to this and I don't believe that Cassie was sex trafficked and it's Cassie's money and he's not telling her to do it, maybe it's a point for the defense because he already testified that she says she did not want to do a freak off that night. So, maybe it's a moot point. I want to talk about Las Vegas, New Year's Eve 2017. Do you recall that testimony? Yes. You mentioned that you had flew into Las Vegas because the whole crew was there. Correct. Staff, everybody. This was New Year's Eve 2016 into 2017. Yes. When you were present with them in Vegas, I believe you said you were on the floor with the whole group and Mr. Combs had a room on one side of the floor. Everyone else was on the other side of the floor. Correct. Now, you also mentioned that when you got to the hotel room, Cassie was asleep. You were told that Cassie was asleep all day. Correct. Then at some point in the time, Cassie and Mr. Combs left to go out. Correct. Mr. Donaldson, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Mr. Nash, do you recognize that? Yes. What do you recognize that to be? Puff and Cassie. Is that from New Year's Eve, 2016, 2017? Yes. I'd like to have this moved into evidence. Now, in this hotel room of New Year's Eve in Vegas with you and Cassie with a producer by the name of Holiday. Correct. This is the low budget. This is the low budget producer, correct?
Low budget, bitch!
I don't know what Deontay has against this man, but he does not like Rob Holiday.
Low budget, bitch!
He is a low budget bitch. This is the low budget guy you talked about yesterday. Yes. At some point in time, Mr. Combs and Cassie came back. What do you mean? They left the hotel room and then they came back to the hotel room. No, we all left together and came back together. I didn't know that. When you woke Cassie up to leave, you and Cassie and Mr. Combs and Mr. Holiday all left together, and other people, the whole team. Everybody went out. Went out for whatever activities were designed for this bad boy staff New Year's Eve thing. Correct. That's why you all were there to do that. Correct. To get her dressed. Yes. At some point, you all came back to the hotel. Correct. And then you and Cassie and Puffy and Mr. Combs and Holiday went back to Mr. Combs' room. Correct. And at that time, you and Mr. Holiday and Mr. Combs, Cassie, were sitting around listening to music and just enjoying yourself. Correct. I believe you said on direct at some point, Cassie told you, could you leave because we want to bring our man over. Objection, misstates the testimony. The judge, Mr. Donaldson, why don't you rephrase the question? At some point, Cassie asked you to step out of the room because a man is being invited over. Yes. Ms. Comey, objection, misstates the testimony. The judge, it's overruled. That's yes, it's correct. Yes. And she told you that Mr. Holiday was still there. Yes. She told you that in front of Mr. Holiday. Yeah, while he was asleep right next to me, snoring. Say what now? Deontay? Why were you asleep right next to Mr. Holiday? Let's see. And she told you that Mr. Holiday was still there. Yes. She told you that in front of Mr. Holiday. Yeah. While he was asleep right next to me snoring. Maybe that's why Deontay thinks that he's a low budget bitch.
Low budget, bitch!
Because why were y'all sleeping next to each other? The plot thickens. The plot thickens. We got to find out, Deontay. Then she woke him up too, correct? Yes. Then asked you both to leave, yes. So that another man can come over, correct. And I believe on direct, your reaction to that was sigh. Yes. Not a, what are you doing, girl? You didn't say, what are you doing, girl? Correct? You just left the room. Yes, I was exhausted. Now, this is interesting that he is now talking like he believes Deontay talks. This is a question from the prosecution. From the defense. Not a, what are you doing, girl? You didn't say, what are you doing, girl? Correct? You just left the room. He says, yes, I was exhausted. You had, at that time, no concern about Cassie's safety. I always did. You always had concern about safety? Yes. In this situation, you left the room anyway? Yes. Then I believe you said at some point in time, you were walking around the hallway and you saw a man knocking on the door. Correct. This man was inside the room? Correct. But you didn't know who let him in? No. Before you left the room, you didn't see any drugs or all types of things spread around Mr. Combs' room. There were drugs because we were doing them. Who was doing them? Me, Puff, Cassie, and Rob. You all were doing drugs together? In our own separate places. 1 second, please, Your Honor. How much time passed between you leaving and you seeing someone knocking on the door? I don't remember. Approximately. I don't remember. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour? I don't know. Once I started working, I just started going, and I probably had about 10 huge body bags to pack. So I don't know. That usually takes me about 2 hours. So somewhere in that time frame. Somewhere within 2 hours, yes. You saw Cassie afterwards? No. They went straight to Mexico. You didn't see her afterwards? No. Did you speak to her afterwards? Yes. When you did speak to her, when they were on the flight, maybe. When you say on the flight, you said they went to Mexico? Yes, I think so. Something like that. Valley or something. And this is them going to a hotel or resort. Correct. This is another one of those situations where she went to a hotel but didn't tell you she didn't want to go. Correct. Actually, she did tell me that she would rather stay home and work on her music and that because she has seen a comment online and they told her, girl, you always on vacation. And she said that she don't always want to go on vacation. She wants to work. This was a vacation that she did tell me that she didn't want to go on, not because of the freak off, but because she wanted to work. I'm going to be the green person in this exhibit and you be the blue person. Reading again. Puff is mad at me, of course. Y'all need to enjoy y'all trip. Get back to the bullshit later. Enjoy y'all time together. Y'all don't get this much. It's not bullshit. This is the bitch I am going to be this year. He can stay or go. That's right, Cassie. I'm just annoyed because he is only nice when he gets what he wants. I'm riding with her. Not mad at the post at all. WhatsApp post at all. Just got a charge on my phone. Have fun and enjoy what you can of the trip. Y'all call me if you need me. Before we get to that, on the first page where it says enjoy y'all time together, y'all don't get this much. You see that? Yes. That's you telling Cassie in January of 2017 that her and Puff needs to enjoy their time together. Yes. And that's you as her best friend letting her know from your advice as a best friend, she needs to enjoy the time away with Puff on this vacation. Correct. Let's go back to the second page. Thank you, I will. Wish you were here. I'm glad that I did my classy clapback. Puff was all aggy, but I spoke up for myself. I'm happy. I wish I was there too. And this is you saying that you wish you were with them on vacation. No, like in Mexico, not with them on the vacation. No, not with them. In Mexico, yes. Blue part, top left. Y'all having fun? Then I think the green part. Cassie, I sent some pictures. You say what? You look beat. What's your tea? When you say you look beat, that means you're referring to pictures that she just sent you where she looks really good in the pictures. Yeah. Then she says sleeping in the room I showed. LOL. That means she showed you the pictures of her sleeping in a hotel room. Correct. I'm not sure. I think she maybe showed me a picture of a room. She is saying I'm sleeping in the room that I showed you kind of thing. LOL, it looks so bomb. We're moving rooms at 10 p.m., but the other one is better and on the beach. This one is kind of on a golf course. I was told I'm the assistant. You would butt out on how organized I have everything. LOL, do y'all have a lot of shit? I definitely do, but we made it all fit and it's hung and organized. What time is it there? 4:31. Oh, you only an hour off? I was thrown off. We was up all night. Girl, you always on vacation. I know. God lets me because I put up with a lot of BS. This is Cassie and Puff away on vacation after the New Year's thing in Vegas. Correct. This is after a man was invited to a hotel room. Correct. So immediately after a man was invited to the hotel room, Puffy and Cassie are on vacation in Mexico. Correct. And apparently, based on your text messages with her, she is enjoying herself. Yes. Now you indicated that you ended your relationship of your professional relationship with Mr. Combs. I saw a video of this actually today. I literally just saw this video. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. I think that's the man that's at the courthouse every day. Yeah. That's Diddy with Cassie. Diddy doing an old man dance. I don't want to play too much because I don't want them to copyright it. His other special friend, French Montana.
It's love. Just say that.
So that all tracks. They moved into a better room by the beach. Now you indicated that you ended your professional relationship with Mr. Combs in 2018, correct? But you stayed in contact with him, correct? When I say I stayed in contact with him, you checked in on him at times. We checked in on each other, yes. You checked in on him, he checked in on you, correct? And you would call him or text him to see how he was doing, correct? Yeah, because he was cutting up. You would call him cutting up? I got it. You would call him or text him to see how he was doing. That's a yes or a no. Yes. In fact, there was this seafood fest that I believe you did for your birthday at Cassie's house. Correct. You invited him over to that. Correct. Yes. And before you did that, he asked you, was it okay with Cassie? Correct. And you said yes. Correct. And in September of 2018, strike that. This is a text message between you and Mr. Combs. Yes. This is in October of 2018. Yes. This is a month or 2 months after you all ended the relationship. Correct. I'll be the green person. You'll be the blue person. Mm-hmm. Is that a yes? Mm-hmm. That's a yes. Yes. He goes through motions. Sometimes he's okay with it. Sometimes he's not. He doesn't seem to really like Xavier. So we're right back.
I'm here for.
Once he starts saying mm-hmm, just replace mm-hmm with
I'm here for.
Okay, Mr. Combs, please call me. No drama. It's important. I just got here. She's knocked out. Damn, wake her up. I'm concerned. How is she? She got up and laid back down. We hear you. But when she gets up, I'll call you. That's Mr. Combs and Mr. Combs expressing concern about Cassie. I guess so, yes. This is October 2018, yes. And you know who Kim Porter is? Yes. She unfortunately tragically passed in late 2018, yeah. You were aware of how close Mr. Combs was to Miss Porter? Absolutely. And you respected that? Absolutely. And you respected him and his family? Absolutely. When Miss Porter died, you then reached out to Mr. Combs? Absolutely. And you wanted to let him know that you were there for him during that time period? Yes. Because you cared for him and his family? Correct. You know who Andre Harrell is? Yes. You remember when he passed as well? Yes. You remember how close Mr. Combs was to Mr. Harrell? Yes. Same thing. You at that time, this was well after 2018, correct. You reached out to Mr. Combs in that instance? Absolutely. Nothing about Cassie at that time. Nothing about the business. I have never spoken to Mr. Combs, and he hasn't asked about Cassie. You have never spoken to Mr. Combs. He hasn't asked about Cassie was doing. Correct. And when Mr. Harrell died, you called Mr. Combs or texted Mr. Combs again, make sure he was okay. Yes. Make sure he was all right. Absolutely. Because you knew that he was close to Mr. Harrell. Correct. You be the person in blue. I'll be the person in green. You go first. Sending you my love. This was January 18, 2019. Yeah. He says, yeah, right, nigga. You blank. We was fam. Disappointed. Still got love. All good. Puff. Don't do that. My love for you don't have nothing to do with anything else. Nah, nigga. The trainer. In my soldier boy voice. Damn. Could have given a nigga a heads up. The trainer. ? Shaking my head. And then laughing emojis. Yes. Oh, now you quiet. We'll always be cool. No love lost. Love you, girl. Black heart. Wait, what? Wait. Was Deontay calling Diddy girl or was Diddy calling Deontay girl? Let's go back. So Diddy is upset because at this point, Cassie has moved on with the man he was paying to train her. He was expecting that Deontay would betray her trust and tell him. So he says, nah, nigga, the trainer, in my soldier boy voice. Damn, could have given a nigga a heads up. The trainer, ? Shaking my head, and then laughing emojis. Deontay responds, yes. So I guess Diddy says, oh, now you're quiet. We'll always be cool. No love lost. Love you, girl. Black heart. But on a real note, how is she? That's interesting. No, Puffy was calling Deontay girl. That's curious. That's curious. That's really interesting that he felt comfortable enough to call Deontay girl. Deontay is not trans. Deontay and Cassie have the type of relationship where they say that with each other. It's very interesting that Puffy has that type of relationship with Deontay. No, it's definitely, we just reread it. The question is Puffy. Deontay is A. He's the answer. So Diddy is questioning Deontay about why he didn't tell him about the trainer. Deontay only responds yes. So Puffy says, oh, now you quiet. We'll always be cool. No love lost. Love you, girl, with a black heart. But on a real note, how is she? Please make sure she is all right. And if she ever needs me, make sure you call me. F that. And he says that was a message between you and Mr. Combs. So Diddy was calling Deontay girl. That's very interesting that they had that type of relationship. Very, very, very interesting. Yes, when he said, how is she? Make sure she's all right. He's talking about Cassie. Correct. That's when you said earlier, whenever y'all speak, he's asking genuinely how she's doing. Correct. Ms. Comey, objection. It misstates the testimony, Your Honor. Let's get a new question. Sure, Judge. Take that down. When is Mr. Combs' birthday? I don't know. November 4th, 2019. Sound familiar? Yeah, maybe. You reached out to him on his birthday as well. Absolutely. Mr. Donaldson, when you put up the defense exhibit? No, sorry, I'm not being whatever. This is just the evidence we have right now. It says, I love you, brother, and anything you need, I got you. This was May 9th, 2020. Correct. This was 2 years after your professional relationship ended. Correct. 2022, you were still communicating with Mr. Combs. Mm-hmm. Is that a yes? Yes. We got to do it every time.
That is on HIPAA.
Y'all do know that Deontay was supposed to fly out to work. So he's definitely mad that this testimony it took 2 days. Is that a yes? Yes. In fact, that year, Mr. Combs put out a song. Yes. I believe he won some type of award. I believe it was right. Yes. And you congratulated him on that. I don't think so. This is you sending a text to Mr. Combs asking how you RSVP for his party. Correct. You're saying now, though, at trial that was you asking him to RSVP for somebody else for his party? Yes, for Claire Summers. Who is Claire Summers? Who is Claire Summers, y'all? Let me see. Claire Summers, we'll just say music artist. I don't know. If y'all know any of these women, I'm assuming it might be her. Let's see. Let me see if any of y'all know her. Fashion Bomb Daily Blogger. Claire Summers. Fashion. There we go. Fashion Bomb Daily. Okay, so that is her. Okay, that makes sense. He's a stylist. She wants to go to Diddy's party. Okay. Y'all are on it. Okay. Mr. Nash, you indicated that between 2008 and 2014, you had no idea that Miss Cassie Ventura was doing or having relationships with other men and Mr. Combs at the same time. Do you recall that? Correct. You recall saying that because you all spoke every day? Yes. So that part of her life was kept secret from you? Yes. So when you said back on January 3rd, 2016, she was going on a secret trip, that was another secret from you? I'm sure when she came home. No, I'm not asking that. I'm asking on January 3rd, 2016, she was again going on a secret trip. She specifically said a secret trip. Yes. Your Honor, I'm going to object to the way this is being used. This is referring to the judge. I understand. You could take it down. Sustained. You deeply care for Cassie, correct. And you have deeply cared for her for about 15 years, correct. But you understand, though, for a significant part of that time, she kept major secrets from you. I keep some from her. We don't have to tell each other everything. But you do acknowledge she kept major secrets from you. Some, correct? Yes. Okay. The judge. Anything further? No, Mr. Donaldson. That's hilarious that the judge is telling him, are you done? The judge is telling him, you're done. Okay. So now we get a redirect. Mr. Nash, just a few questions. Okay. First, on cross-examine, do you remember saying that you always had concerns for Cassie's safety? Yes. Oh, he says yes to her. Why did you always have concerns for Cassie's safety if she also told you that she was happy at times? Objection, overruled. Because it can go from happy to chaotic in a split second. How do you know that? Because he had done it in front of me. How many times? Quite a few. And when it went from happy to chaotic in front of you, what had you seen happen? Him be violent. To who? Her or me? Do you remember being asked on cross-examination about your conversation in the car after Mr. Combs threatened to release Cassie's tapes? Correct. What did you remember Cassie saying to you about the devices Mr. Combs had used to record those videos? Her phone. Do you remember her also mentioning Mr. Combs' devices? No. Miss Comey, can we pull up, please? Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. I'm showing you the same thing that Mr. Donaldson showed you. Can you just take a look at that? We can take that down. Does that refresh your recollection that Cassie told you that Mr. Combs used both her devices and Mr. Combs' devices to record her having sex with other men? I remember her devices, but that was the focus of the moment. Do you recall being asked on cross-examination about Cassie's 29th birthday? Yes. Do you recall being asked about whether you had told the government about Mr. Combs wanting her to go to the hotel or making her go to the hotel? Correct. Was your first meeting with the prosecutors in July of 2024? Maybe. Can we please pull up? Oh, no more pulling up. I'm sorry. This is blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry. Let me know when you're ready. Does that refresh your recollection that at your very first meeting with prosecutors, you told prosecutors that during Cassie's 29th birthday party, Mr. Combs wanted her to leave? Yes. Focusing still on the 29th birthday party, do you remember being asked questions about drug use and whether Mr. Combs and Cassie had used drugs that night? Repeat the question. Do you remember being asked on cross-examination about whether Mr. Combs and Cassie appeared high on the 29th birthday? Yes. I want to focus on Mr. Combs. Did he appear to understand what was going on around him throughout the 29th birthday party? Yes. Did he appear to be in control of himself and his faculties throughout the 29th birthday party? Yes. What did you hear him say at Cassie's apartment that was going to do that Cassie was going to do that night? Yo, girl, you are going to suck some dick tonight. What did Cassie tell you that same night about whether she wanted to go with Mr. Combs to a hotel? Objection, overruled. She didn't want to go. She wanted to hang with us. No further questions. They excused the witness. Now, I think that deserves some cooking. I need a plate. Hold on. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna miss Deontay. I'm definitely gonna miss Deontay. We need Deontay on the show because Deontay, he just needs to come on the show. Okay. Yeah, this is what I do. I load up on sugar when I'm in the every break. I'm either getting like some Rice Krispie treats or at least some like fruit snacks. Jahira baby, thank you for becoming a member. Nessie Lala, thank you for becoming a member. Yari Styles, we needed a NYC members only link up. The people have been wanting me to do a meet and greet. I don't think I'm ready. But whenever I see somebody in a bar, like I said, I always buy them a shot at Casamigos. But I don't know if I'm ready for a meet and greet. Yana Artist, great job, Mims. Thank you. Anastasia, thank you so much for joining the membership. Paula Keys, Deontay got his foot on their necks. I think we got to do one more for the road. This was Deontay with Xavier.
I am sick of your shit. And when I'm not sick, I'm tired. I am sick and tired.
And one more for the road.
I hope you get it together.
I hope you do so.
Ooh, girl. Is there anything else you want?
The judge said you cutting up too much. Absolutely. Tasha, thanks, Mims, for all the hard work. Blessings to you and your family. Thank you. Tay, thank you so much for the super sticker. And Paula, do a members only with Gabor and DeAndre. I don't know who would come out alive, to be honest with you. I'm over here with ears wide open and eyes half shut. 4 a.m. European time. I refuse to miss out. This is our straight shooter from Belgium, if I recall correctly. We got one more day of this, y'all. I'm so excited to get back to New York and go back to my normal, regular note taking and bringing you guys eyes and ears from the court. I have never been so ready to go back to New York. Ashley, some days it works, some days it doesn't. I don't know. I'll put it up. For anybody who tried to send me one and it sent it back to you, I appreciate it. Cash App started doing, I think Tisa, we talked about this. Cash App started getting janky about 2 weeks ago. But thank you anybody who did attempt to send. And Tony, thank you so much for joining the membership. Okay, now this testimony, guys. Okay, so we touched on this a little bit. Mia wants to remain anonymous. Mia is no longer in the business. Mia has gone through some really horrible shit with Diddy. And from what I heard, there was multiple people inside the courtroom tearing up and crying at her testimony, including her crying. So trigger warning, we're about to go into some shit. Mia is not her real name, but she showed the jury her passport to let them know she was who she was, and they are asking that people not reveal who she is, even if you feel like you know who she is. They're asking you not to reveal it. She is a Caucasian lady. And she was victimized allegedly by Diddy. Okay, we're gonna skip the start of this. We are not doing the monitor being disabled. Okay. So she did that. She did that. Mia, where are you from? Virginia Beach. How far did you go to school? Bachelor's degree. They're still talking about the feed. What names do you know him by? Diddy, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Puffy, Puff, PD. What did you call him, Puff? How do you know Mr. Combs? I worked for him. When you worked for him, did Mr. Combs give you one title or more than one title? More than one. How many? 2. What were those 2 titles? Personal assistant and then director of development and acquisitions for Revolt Films. We will discuss each of those roles in a moment, Mia. But first, at a high level, could you describe the work environment, what it was like when you were working for Mr. Combs? It was chaotic. It could be toxic. It could be exciting. The highs are really high and the lows are really low. Hold on. You can come get these cookies. So okay. I'm telling my niece to come get these cupcakes. Okay, sorry about that. We're not usually on this long, y'all. Okay. What determined the environment was like on a particular day? Puff's mood. How often did Mr. Combs' mood shift? All the time. Mia, was Mr. Combs ever violent toward you? Yes. What are some of the violent things that Mr. Combs has done to you? He has thrown things at me. He has thrown me against the wall. He has thrown me into a pool. He has thrown an ice bucket on my head. He has slammed my arm into a door. He has also sexually assaulted me. Did Mr. Combs sexually assault you on one occasion or more than one occasion? More than one. We will talk about this violence in more detail later. Before we get there, I want to talk a little bit about your work experience before getting a job with Mr. Combs. What were your career goals when you left college? I really love storytelling and film and TV, especially comedy, and I really wanted to be a writer and a performer. But I didn't know how to do that because this was like a different era, before social media or iPhones. So I thought I could just put on a mattress on top of my car and move to New York City and get a job somehow in the entertainment industry. In the entertainment, they're over here. They know you're in here. I just said, do you want to say hello? You don't have to. Okay. Okay. Sorry. So I thought I could put a mattress on top of my car and move to New York City and get a job somehow in the entertainment industry and work really, really, really hard. And maybe in like 10 years, I would have had the education and experience to navigate that world to make whatever those dreams were come true. At some point, did there come a time when you got a job in the entertainment industry? Yes. Where was that for initially? First was for Georgina Chapman, who was the owner of designer of Marchesa. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Marchesa, is that Weinstein's wife? What brand did Weinstein's wife own? Marchesa. Wow. Side note. So this woman went from working around Harvey Weinstein's wife, where Harvey was the one who was actually getting all of the, Hollywood girls to wear the clothes. He was putting them in the movies, but he was forcing them to sleep with them. So she went from, out of the frying pan and into the fire. So she hopefully lucked out and never came into contact with Harvey Weinstein. But then she works for Diddy, and he does, sexually assault her. That's crazy. Damn. Who were Georgina Chapman's clients? It was all like red carpet celebrity dressing. Where did you work? I worked for the comedian Mike Myers. What did you do for Mike Myers? I was his personal assistant. Wow, she has a resume. Who did you work for after Mike Myers? Puff. Approximately when did you begin working for Mr. Combs? 2009. And what year did you leave Mr. Combs' company? 2017. I want to talk about when you first got the job with Mr. Combs. How old were you when you applied to work with him? When I applied, I was either 25 or 26. Where were you living? In New York City. Where was Mr. Combs' business located? He was also in New York City. What were the steps in the hiring process? I met with a recruiter multiple times and then had multiple interviews with the head of HR, Vasta Wilson. Then after that, I had an interview with his chief of staff, an executive assistant, and head of personal finance. Who was his chief of staff at the time? Her name was Ellie Neves. What about the executive assistant? Carlene Roy. Finally, who was the person in personal finance? Tony Bias Fletcher. Miss Foster, could you please pull up? We're not doing that. That's Tony Bias Fletcher. You can take that down. Where did that interview take place? At his apartment. Did anyone accompany you to his apartment? Yes. Who? Vasta Wilson. The head of human resources? Yes. What happened when you got to Mr. Combs' apartment? He answered the door on the phone. Who answered the door? Sorry, Puff. What was he wearing when he answered the door? His underwear. So you worked in professional environments. You worked for the head of Marchesa. You worked for Mike Myers. And upon your first meeting with Puffy, you see something like this. Now, I don't know if he was high or not, but yeah, everybody's not trying to see that. What was he wearing? His underwear. What did Vassar do when Mr. Combs answered the door in his underwear? She just introduced me and then left. Did Mr. Combs eventually put on clothes? Yes. Who else was around for the interview? Derek, his stylist at the time, was in the apartment. What's Derek's last name? Roche. Did you ultimately get the job? Yes. How did you feel about getting the job? I was so excited so nervous, but just really eager and excited, I guess. When you took the job, how much did you expect to work? I was explained that it would be a lot. There were a few jokes about 24-hour nail salons thrown in, but I guess I didn't fully understand. Yeah, I did not expect to work more than an average job. Did you expect to work 24/7? I thought that was like probably physically impossible, but yes. So not literally, but how much did you work for Mike Myers? He also said 24/7, but really maybe every once in a while I would get a call at 7, or maybe on the weekends I would have to watch his dog, but it was pretty much 10 to 6 every day, Monday through Friday. Were you supposed to have any days off of Mr. Combs? Yes. Did you expect to work on the weekends? Not every weekend. I thought there would be like a rotation of assistants, but I didn't expect not to work at all on weekends, if that makes sense. What was your base salary? I was told it was $55,000, but then it turned out to actually be $50,000. And when you started the job, how many hours a week did you understand that you were expected to earn? 40. How often did you work more than 40 hours a week, every week? And how are you supposed to be compensated when you work more than 40 hours a week? Paid overtime. I want to talk to you about your first day at work, Mia. What's the first thing that you did on your first day of work for Mr. Combs? I went to the office, and Vasta told me that I probably wouldn't see Puff for the next 2 weeks while I was on trial, and I was going to get accustomed to the office and sort all the things that went into making his life run smooth. Let me pause you there. You said while you were on trial. What do you mean by that? It was Vasta had said that there were so many people vying for this position, that they had a trial period that would last 2 weeks to see if you could, have what it took essentially. And where did Vasta tell you to go? To his Alpine, New Jersey home. And what did you do at the Alpine house? Just at a high level. They told me, I don't know. They told me some sort of inventory or take note of what needed attention. Did you go there? Yes. Approximately how long were you at the Alpine house? I was there all day. I left when it was dark out, but it wasn't super late. Just like it had been dark out. And where did you go after the Alpine house? Back to the office. And how long were you at the office? Probably like a few hours. It didn't feel super long. And what time was it around? For some reason, I feel like it was maybe 10 when I left because I just was meeting with new people and learning stuff. Where did you go after that? Home. Did you make it home? No. Why not? Vasta called me and said that Puff wanted me to come to the studio. What did you do after you got the call? I went straight to the studio. How long were you at the studio? Until about 1 the next day in the afternoon. What the? You start a job. You go to the person's house. You're sorting stuff. You're supposed to be off at 6. You are heading home at 10, and they say, no, go to the studio. And you end up at the studio from 10 p.m. to 1 p.m. the next day. Oh, no, she said we went to Puff's apartment. But still, 1 p.m., that's how many hours is that? Like a 65-hour work? That's crazy. And what did you have to do there? I was learning. His security and his assistants and whoever needed to, whenever Puff was ready to essentially settle in, you went back and made sure and had everything he needed. And they were showing me how to set it up. Yeah. And when did you get to the home? A few hours after that. How long were you able to be home before you had to return to work? I don't remember the exact time. I just remember being too nervous to risk it by taking a nap because the time period wasn't that long. So essentially just to kind of rest and then get ready again. So Mia, how much did you sleep during your first 24 hours on the job? I didn't. What did you think about that? I sort of took it as a challenge, or maybe this was just for the trial period, or maybe it was, I don't know. It was kind of this is how it is. But there had been a TV show 2 years prior called I Want to Work for Diddy, where it looked like this fit the norm. So I don't know. I thought maybe it was part of the trial. When you were working with Mr. Combs, how often were you required to go without sleep? All the time. What, if any, expectations did you have about when you would be able to sleep next? That was the thing. I didn't. I can usually power through, but I remember when I was younger, waking up for school, being tired. I would be okay, Mia, you get out at 3, you can sleep then. Mr. Steele, non-responsive, Your Honor. It's overruled. You can continue. Oh, they put Brian Steele on her. I haven't said this yet. Guys, definitely hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. The Pitbull Mom gifted 10 memberships. Thank you so much. If you received the membership from the Pitbull Mom, definitely say thank you in the chat. YouTube determines based on how many people who watches my channel the most. That's who gets them. So thank you so much, the Pitbull Mom. Britt, they said when Mia was talking about SA, Diddy kept shaking his head as if to say she's lying. That's disgusting. Worry about yourself. Thank you so much for the super sticker. I would have played the Michael Jackson thing, but I don't think it's appropriate for this type of testimony. I remember thinking, let's say I had been awake for 2 days or something. I didn't have anything to hold on to because I didn't have an idea of when that could happen, when I could go to sleep. What was the longest period of time you went without sleeping because of your work for Mr. Combs? 5 days. Generally, what are you doing in those 5 days? Working. We were traveling. I just remember the last part of being in Las Vegas. So there was always a million things going on. I remember he had club appearances, but also he had a few impromptu music video sets. So you're running around and doing whatever needed to be done. Okay, side note. Now that I'm thinking about this, I am, how do I want to phrase that? I'm friends with somebody who used to work for Diddy. And in present day, even though they have not worked for Diddy in years, they still do not have a normal sleep schedule. So let's say we have to have a business meeting at 10, 11 o'clock at night. They'll be up at 4 or 5 the next morning. You get trained to not sleep. And now that I'm hearing Mia say this, it makes a lot of sense why my friend also doesn't sleep. You need sleep, y'all. This is low-key kind of crazy. This makes a lot of sense. Also, if you're not really sleeping, you're not really able to, make the best decisions or, say no. Or if you haven't slept or ate and somebody wants you to do drugs, those drugs are going to hit you faster. They're going to hit you harder. If you're not sleeping, you're not really eating, you're doing drugs, and he's turning up the heaters to 75, 76 and having this red light on. This is some crazy, weird shit. Were you taking any medication at the time that he had the effect of helping you stay awake? Yes, I guess so. I've had ADHD and I've had a prescription since I was 17. I take Adderall, so that helped. Were you taking any particular kind of Adderall at that time? Yes. At that time, it was extended release. And what if any effect did that extended release Adderall have on you? It would allow me to, I guess it was much stronger than the normal, so it allowed me to quasi-function or stay awake. Why did you finally get to go to sleep? I think they meant when. When did you finally get to go to sleep? I had a physical, and I guess I had a physical breakdown. I remember just my hearing went. It felt like I was underwater and my equilibrium was off and I started not seeing things, but blurred vision or lights that weren't there. And then out of nowhere, I didn't mean to, but I burst into tears, hysterical, and I couldn't stop crying. Did anyone tell you could go to sleep at that point? Yes. Who? Puff. Why did you not want to sleep before that? Because I was working. All right. Next, I want to talk about some of your duties as a personal assistant. But before I do that, I would like to direct your attention to the binder in front of you that's on top of there. And you could please flip in the binder. Do you remember these documents? Yes. They are correspondence between me and Puff and me and the people that work with Puff. And how did you know that? Because I recognize them and also see our emails and phone numbers. Are they a fair and accurate representation of your communications with Mr. Combs? Yes. Your Honor, but we're not doing that. Any objections? No. Mia, could you please now look through the other binder that's sitting to your left and look through that and look up when you're done. And this binder contains blah, 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 blah. What did you say? Yes. Are they redacted forms of the documents you just looked at? Yes. We're doing these exhibits. We're doing these exhibits. Okay. Now, I want you to focus on some of your duties as a personal assistant. Ms. Foster, could you please blah, 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 blah. Mia, what is this? This was just a brief informal list of things. Some of the responsibilities are things that I did on a daily basis that was appropriate to put in an email. And who did you send this list of responsibilities to? To Tony Bias Fletcher. When did you send it? I sent it on November 10th, 2011. And why did you send this to Tony? Because I believe it was after a comment. I don't even know what you do all day. Comment from Puff. And then Tony. Sorry. So Mr. Combs asked what you do all day. Is that right? Yeah. Just sort of it was sort of like a threatening. I don't know if it was a tactic, but Tony was like, okay, well, let's just send me an email. Just send me this list so that this can't be said again. Like, okay, let's focus on a few things that are in this document. She's using like a lot. They said she was pretty nervous on the stand and she cried. Could you please read this? Yes, all of PD's social media presence. Who is PD? Puff. Did you help manage Mr. Combs' social media presence? Yes. Could you please now highlight where it says main liaison in the middle of the page? Could you read that? Main liaison between PD and Hollywood. What was that part of your job? It was. It became that. And could you please zoom out? And Mr. Foster, could you please highlight where it says towards the bottom of the page, PD's daily routine? PD's daily routine, keeping him on a schedule, any request PD has, either completing or making sure it's done by others. Ms. Foster, could you please turn the page? Was everything on this page part of your job? Please highlight in the middle of the page where it says protect him at all times. She's not a bodyguard. She's not a bodyguard. Protect Puff at all times is part of your job description. This is why I'm eating this damn cupcake. When should we open this? Let me know when it's time to go from water to Old English. Also, if you guys don't know, this was the Molotov cocktail. This is what they used to make the Molotov cocktail. So I went and bought one today, and we don't know if Healing Daily says now. Get it over with. Okay, sorry. Could you read this? Yes, protect him at all times, his privacy, etc. Stay attached to the BlackBerry 24/7. Staying with PD's eyesight, unless he advises otherwise while on duty. Listening, asking, hearing, prioritizing, and translating PD's situation. Maintaining PD's daily routine in both professional and private circles from the minute he wakes up in the morning until the moment he falls asleep at night, and even the interim. Anticipating his needs, whims, and moods. Let me stop you there, Mia. Why is it important to anticipate Mr. Combs' needs, whims, and moods? Because it dictated a day. Okay. Could you please zoom out? Could you please highlight the bottom where it says every single day is different? She says every single day is different. PD can ask you to do 17,000 things at one time that range from cracking his knuckles. I have never heard any bullshit like that in my life. I'm not working at a job where somebody wants me to crack their knuckles. That seems very weird, but also weirdly intimate to sit and hold somebody's hand and crack their knuckles. And this is from the head of HR's list of what the assistants were required to do. That's crazy. Arranged from cracking his knuckles to writing his next movie to doing his taxes. He can also just have you standing next to him for 22 hours and not ask you one thing. When you started working as a personal assistant for Mr. Combs, did you have an apartment? Yes. Where was your apartment? In New York City. How often did you stay there when you worked for Mr. Combs? Not very often. My roommates always made a joke that they lived with a ghost. Where were you staying if you weren't in your apartment? Wherever Puff was. And what cities did Mr. Combs live when you were working for him? Besides New York, he lived in Los Angeles and Miami. So focusing first on Los Angeles, where did you stay when you were in Los Angeles? When I first started, I stayed in the staff house, and then I was moved into Puff's house at 9933 Beverly Grove. Let's check that house out. That's not the same house that we were. I don't think it's the same house that we were looking at yesterday. Oh, so this is a $9 million house, but oh, okay, it was the same house that we were looking at yesterday, the one with all the windows. So we don't need to see this today. And focusing on Beverly Grove for a second, did Mr. Combs have that house before you started? Yes. And approximately what years did Mr. Combs live in 933 Beverly Grove? I believe he moved in 2010. So 2009 and 2010, yes. And where did you live in LA after 933 Beverly Grove? Then into his second home, 9374 Beverly Crest Drive. So the Beverly Grove house was $10 million. Let's see the Crest Drive. It looks very similar to the Beverly Grove house. I guess he really likes white, which would make sense, right? White nails, white parties, white mansions, white women, and Asian women. Okay, let's see. White drugs. That's a good, yeah. What approximate years did Mr. Combs have that home? I think it was 2010 until 2014. Are you estimating? Yes. At some point, did you get your own apartment in Los Angeles? Yes. Approximately when was that? 2013. And where did Mr. Combs move around 2014 when he moved out of the Beverly Crest house? Then he moved to Mapleton. Well, how much was the Beverly Crest house? So maybe he was renting these. So the first house was $9 million. The second house was $13 million. So how much was the fourth house? 200 South Mapleton Drive. Oh no, this is massive. This is a $61 million house. Okay. That's definitely an upgrade. Oh, so this was probably after Ciroc had took off and De Leon, and he was now making the liquor money. So when he was doing the money where he wasn't paying his artist, that money was just, I guess, that just passed through your hands kind of money. So he was renting a $10 million house. He then bought a $61 million house. That is the current house he still owns. That's I just sold my soul to the devil, so I might as well just live it up while I'm alive kind of house. When Mr. Combs was in Miami, where did you stay? If I was lucky, the guest house. If not, the main house. Was that Mr. Combs' home in Miami? Yes. What was the address? 2-Star Island. We looked that up. We know he also owns 1-Star Island now. Mia, when you were in Mr. Combs' homes, were you able to leave whenever you wanted? No. Why not? I wasn't allowed. I had to ask permission. And who would you have to ask permission? Puff. How did you learn that you needed Mr. Combs' permission to leave? I thought that when I was, let's say everyone was asleep or I was quote unquote off the clock, that I could leave. But one night I remember it was super late. It was like LA closes at 2 or something in the morning and Puff had gone to bed. And I was like so desperate just to see some friends that I hadn't seen anybody outside of that world for a minute. And I left to go meet up with them somewhere after Puff was asleep. And I got in big trouble. What happened when you got in big trouble? Security, I'm not sure exactly who it was, like called me to let me know that he was sending them to find me. And yeah, I didn't realize I wasn't allowed to leave. Do you remember about when this was? I know it was at the first house. So 2009, 2010. Yes. Mia, when you were living in Mr. Combs' homes, were you allowed to lock your bedroom door? No. Why not? Because Puff said, like, this is my house. No one locks my doors. That's like, so my room was essentially not really, that was just the place I was staying. It was still his house. Were there any other employees who lived in Mr. Combs' home when you did? Yes. Who generally? Whatever security was with us. And what security regularly worked for Mr. Combs when you were there? Uncle Paulie, D-Rock, Bonds, and Rube. Do you know if security was allowed to lock their bedroom doors? Yes, they could. And how do you know that? Because the rooms were right next to mine, and one had a deadbolt and the other had the keypad where the cameras were. Were there other personal assistants working for Mr. Combs when you started work? Yes. How many? When I started, apparently like 3 had just left, so there was only 1 at the time. And who was that? His name was Malcolm McRae. What was your understanding of how the number of personal assistants could change? I was told that they were actively overruled. Okay, you can answer. I was told by Vashta that they were actively looking for more assistants because typically there was at least 4 or maybe 5, something like that. So that, kind of like a hang tight. We're filling those roles ASAP. Approximately how long did Malcolm, the assistant who was there when you started, work for Mr. Combs while you were there? Like maybe 7 or 8 months. Were you the only personal assistant with Malcolm? Yes. For approximately how long? A year. How did you feel when you were the only personal assistant? I didn't have time to feel, but like insane. What, if anything, did Mr. Combs tell you about being the only assistant? He pulled me to the side of sort, like this was going to be temporary, but that he, trusted me and he knew we could do this together, and it was sort of like, and I believe in you, but I like an awesome pep talk, and also positioned it as though we were like going to be doing this as a team. He's like, I just need a second brain. Like I need somebody. And he believed in me and trusted me. And it was going to be, now he believed in you and trusted you, but you couldn't lock the bedroom door because he didn't trust you. And he believed in me and trusted me. And it was going to be hard and it was going to be crazy, but we were going to like get through it. So it felt, I don't know how to explain that. It felt, like you believe in me, so I'm going to prove myself. But yeah, this girl is very nervous. I hear she never looked at Diddy one time in court. She never looked at him one time in court. Was it difficult to be the only personal assistant? Yes. At some point, did Mr. Combs hire additional personal assistants? Yes. Who were some of the others that you worked with? Sienna Lee, Neil Dominique were the first assistants that came in they stayed for a period of time, and then later on came Carla Faulkner. From what you could see, was your experience the same or different from the other personal assistants? Different. How did your responsibilities compare? I felt like I was responsible for everything, even though if somebody didn't do something they were supposed to, regardless of how long they had been there, I got in trouble for it. I never got time off. They, both of them, especially Neil, had time off all the time. I was punished if I had, let's say it was on the schedule that I had off and both of them had on. And if at 4 a.m. that changed and then Neil was given off for something, then I was like held responsible for not, if I guess got a message a little too late. I rarely ever got to like run errands. I just felt like I was bearing the brunt of everything, and that I could never get free. Yeah, a free moment. So you felt like you had more responsibility, like 1,000 times more. You mentioned that you sometimes got punished. What do you mean by that? I guess there's various ways of punishment. It was a lot of like getting cursed out and humiliated and berated, but also my intelligence insulted and my job threatened quite a bit. And who did those things? Puff. We'll talk about them in more detail soon, but first I want to ask you a few different people. We're not doing this exhibits. George Kaplan's role. I believe he was the executive assistant at the beginning, I think, to Brian Offit, an executive. So George Kaplan was one of the people that testified, I think, week 2. And then I believe he transitioned to being a personal assistant for Puff. He was a personal assistant to Mr. Combs before or after you? After. Ryan Lopez. And what was Ryan's role? He was also a personal assistant to Puff before or after you? After me. Do you recognize this person? Eli Marone. They were a personal assistant before or after? After. David Shirley. How do you know this person? Do you know him from working for Mr. Combs? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Yes, for working for Puff. Let me see. What was Mr. Shirley's role? He was also an assistant. Before you or after you? After. Mia, you testified earlier that your next title after personal assistant was Director of Development at Revolt. Yes. What is Revolt Films? It's a production company that Puff and I started together. What? Revolt Films was a production company that Puff and I started together. How, if at all, did Revolt Films differ from Revolt TV? They were completely separate. They were named similar for branding purposes. What was Revolt TV? It was a TV network. When did you become the director of development for Revolt Film? The official title was granted in 2013. Had you been doing some film work before that? Yes, lots of it for about 2 years. And at this point in time, in 2013, had you had a personal assistant for approximately 4 years? Yes. Oh, she had her own personal. At this point in time in 2013, had you been a personal assistant for, oh, she was a personal assistant for 4 years. Yes. So you had done about 7 or 8 months with Malcolm, right? And then a year on your own, right? And then some other personal assistants joined, yes. How many people were working for Revolt Films at the time you made the transition? It was just me. And why did this transition happen? Because I had been doing, so essentially I was running his film production company. I had to beg for it. It had been for years, and it had been 4 years, and it kept being promised. And then finally, I believe new executives in the office came in and helped me move along. Did you want to work for Revolt Films? Yes. Why? Because that was my dream. That was like when I was doing, even though I had to still do all of the insane assistant situation or just be next to him, like the joy I would get out of doing the TV and film was like overwhelmingly awesome. So when you started with Revolt Films, were you still performing personal assistant duties? Yes. What was your base salary with Revolt? $70,000. She was supposed to be making $55,000, so she only went up $15,000. And how did you change over time, if at all? Eventually, I believe a few years later, it was up to $100,000. Were you supposed to be paid anything in addition to base salary? Yes. What was that? Bonuses per project. Did you always get those bonuses? No. What were just some of your responsibilities with Revolt at a high level? It was identifying projects for investment purposes to also get like EP credits for Puff, and developing and creating our own projects as vehicles for Puff to star in. Y'all remember him in The Raisin in the Sun? He wasn't going to ever win an award for that. Let me see. Sorry. Let me see. Okay, so they're taking a break. Okay, Mia, before we spoke, we were just talking about some of your responsibilities with Revolt Film. When you got the new title with Revolt, where were you physically working? I was still working out of his house. Whose house? I'm sorry, Puff's house. At some point, did you stop working primarily in Mr. Combs' homes? Yes. Approximately when was that? I believe it was probably like late 2015, like somewhere around then. Then there was kind of a time period where it would be his office, his house, office, house. Then eventually it was like the office mainly after I think around the end of 2016. End of 2015, end of 2016, somewhere around there, yes. Next, I want to transition to a new topic. It's an exhibit. It's a picture of Cassie. How do you know her? Working for Puff. Are you still friends today? Yes. She understood that she was the girlfriend. How would you describe their relationship? It was a cycle of like highs and lows. It was unequal, toxic. When I say abusive, I don't mean that she had any, like it was abusive towards her. Was there any violence in the relationship? Yes. We'll talk more about this soon. First, what was Cassie's profession? She was a recording artist. In your role as personal assistant for Mr. Combs, did you have exposure to aspects of Cassie's music career? Yes. Generally, what exposure did you have? All of the executives or people doing business with or for Puff would send all of their, anytime they needed an answer through me in order to get the answers from him. So I saw all types of correspondence, emails, and I was constantly with him in meetings. So, I mean, I was pretty privy to a lot going on. From what you saw, what was the relationship between Cassie's music career and Mr. Combs' business? She was signed to his label. And what, if any, role did Mr. Combs himself play in her music career? He was in charge of it. And what kinds of things did you see Mr. Combs do related to Cassie's career? He always made the final decisions. And what kind of final decisions did you observe? That could range anywhere from deciding like what music will be put out, with the visual aspects of any music videos, when she would be in the studio, her appearance, and any sort of shows or appearances or dates or promotions that she would be involved with. Miss Miser, Miss Foster, could you please display what's in evidence? Blah, 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 blah. We're not doing that. And who did Cassie send this message to? She sent it to Puff, Gwen Niles, Harvey Pierre, Capricorn Clark, Matthew Testa, James Cruz, and me. This is an email from Cass to Puff and a number of executives or people involved in her music career. When did Cassie send this message? April 21st, 2012. And around what time? It says 7:30, but it was actually like 4:36 in the morning because we were in Los Angeles. If you know, where was Cassie that night? My memory, I believe they were at a hotel. And who was she with? Puff. Do you have a term for this kind of night when you're working with Mr. Combs? Yeah, we called them hotel nights. We'll talk more about hotel nights soon. But first, focusing on this email, what was the subject line? It says, thank you, team, ... And you can please read what Cassie said in the email. For everything, with regret, I have been informed that I could not perform on Monday due to overage in cost. I have worked very hard, but I cannot support myself on the things that I need in order to move forward and make this show happen and run smoothly. I appreciate everyone, and I hope that you can understand. Again, I am very sorry and doubly sorry for any drama I have caused at Bad Boy or Interscope. I have tried my very best. I wish everyone the best. Anyone not attached in this email, I will contact directly, so not to disrupt anyone's travel and or schedule. Thank you. And this email mentions Interscope. Do you know what that is? Yes. What is it? It was a bigger like record label. Sorry. Record publishing company that Bad Boy was signed to. So Cassie sent them something at 4:30 in the morning because I guess Puff had told her she could not make some music. She couldn't put her project out. She won't be able to perform on Monday. Mia, would you please read his response? Did Mr. Combs respond? Yes. Can you please read it? Make sure you ST11 Hill and let him know you're not ready and you do want to embarrass yourself again. So Puffy responded to the email. Make sure you ST11 Hill and let him know you're not ready and you do want to embarrass yourself again. Do you have an understanding of what ST11 Hill means? Yes, he's referring to Stephen Hill. Who was Stephen Hill? He was the president of BET at the time. Oh. And Mia, would you mind reading this response? If that were the issue, I would. So since you no longer want to support your artist, I will have to pull out. No label support, no show, no. And what did you do after you got these emails? I forwarded them to Tony and mentioned earlier that Tony was the chief of staff. She was. I don't know when her title likely officially switched, but she operated in the position before. And what was she before chief of staff? She was the head of personal finance, but she was still straddling both worlds, like the office and the personal. So she was involved a lot with like helping navigate dramatic situations, or she was kind of someone you could go to if that makes sense. Why did you forward this email to Tony Fletcher? Well, because I had to keep Tony aware of everything going on because like Tony, not everything going on. Sorry. Anything that she was in charge of booking hotels. So I had to keep her aware of possibly something happening. She was also, because all of those other people were on copy, I knew that it would get to her anyway. And so the situation would have affected other situations or plans that were in place. So I'm just keeping her alert of the things that was like allowed to. I feel really bad for this girl. You can tell just by her testimony that she is actually like struggling to answer these questions. She's nervous. She's allegedly in front of her abuser for the first time in years. I never eat on live, but it's necessary when you're in court. Okay. So you're saying Cassie, so you were saying because Cassie had emailed other people involved in her career, you needed to help keep Tony in the loop. Yeah. Those people work like in the office too. So yeah, keeping her in the loop of everything going on. When did you send this email? 4 a.m. You can zoom out and take that down. Mia, do you know whether Cassie ended up performing? I believe she did. Was Cassie involved in any other professional projects besides music when you were working with Mr. Combs? Yes. What was she involved in? She was also an actress. And what was your role, if any, related to her acting career? I helped her navigate. I helped her navigate the world. I helped her find representation. I would help her find projects. I would run lines with her, go with her to auditions, go with her to the set if she was shooting. What, if anything, did you see Mr. Combs do related to Cassie's acting career? He wanted, or he was very involved in the final decision. The final decision? Was there ever a time when Mr. Combs would come to Cassie's sets? Yes. What, if anything, happened when he was on sets? Objection, Your Honor, timeline. Can we be a little bit more specific? Approximately when was Cassie doing these acting roles? Well, she did The Perfect Match premiered in about 2015. So around 2015, did you ever see Mr. Combs on a movie set? Yes. What, if anything, did he do on the set? Well, production would be really overwhelmed because they would kind of have to stop everything. And he would, I don't know, everyone would be really nervous and he would ask a lot of questions and sort of insert himself. Did things come to a stop on the set? Yes. Shifting gears a little, what, if anything, was Mr. Combs' role related to Cassie's appearance from what you saw? He was in charge of it. In what ways? She had to get approval for she would have to try on outfits, or we would send photos for approval of what she could wear. I've had to send photos of her nails at a nail salon, hairstyles, things like that. And who were you sending those photos to? Puff. Why were you sending them to Mr. Combs? Because he's asking, he's asking for them. During your time working for Mr. Combs, did you have any exposure to Cassie's finances? A bit, yeah. And what was the exposure that you had? I knew that the exposure was, sorry. How did, Tony, for example, I knew that the office paid her credit cards. And how did you know that? One time I was with Cass and Tony asked me, she said, I'm in a bind. Do you have any cash that you can? Objection. Let's get a new question. Maybe you can rephrase. No problem. So we were just focused on the credit cards, but was there anything else that you had exposure with regard to Cassie's finances? Yes. What was that? I knew that the places that she lived were his company names as well as her cars. Were there ever times where you saw Mr. Combs take away things that he paid for? All the time. What kind of things did he take away from Cassie? Her car, her jewelry, her support, things like that. And generally, when did you see him take those things away? When he was upset, or if he couldn't get her on the phone or something like that. How would Cassie react when that happened? She wouldn't do let it happen. How often were you with Cassie when you were working for Mr. Combs? As much as I was allowed, a lot, all the time. And who decided whether you were allowed to be with Cassie or not, Puff? How did this time with Cassie relate to your job responsibilities, if at all? How did they relate? Everything I was told to do, I guess, was my job responsibility. Let me ask you this. What did Mr. Combs tell you to do when you went to be with Cassie? Sometimes it would be go help Cass. Sometimes it would be accompany her to things. But a lot of times it would be to keep her, keep tabs on her and be able to get in touch with her through me or check up on her. So Mr. Combs could check up on her. Yes. And so was it a part of your job to spend this time with Cassie? Excuse me. Yes. I had to do everything that he told me to do. That who told you to do? That Puff told me to do. And when you and Cassie were together, were you all able to go wherever you wanted, whenever you wanted? No. Why not? We had to be wherever Puff told us we could be. And what would happen if you and Cassie did something without Mr. Combs' permission? It would not something bad, like very scary. Damn, this lady is traumatized. When you say very scary, like what kinds of things are you talking about? We would be in trouble and the punishment was typically unpredictable, but it was typically pretty terrifying. Well, okay, we'll talk some more about that as we get through your testimony. But from what you could see when you were with Cassie, how would Mr. Combs communicate with her when she was not physically around her? Be like text, email, phone, having other people call or through me. Did you say if I was with her? Yeah, when you were with her, or like through me. And who else besides Mr. Combs would contact her? Anybody within Puff's like earshot, whoever he told to get in touch with her. What would happen if Cassie didn't answer the phone when Mr. Combs would call? Then there would be multiple people calling, texting, emailing her, trying to find her, and her like security would show up if like she didn't, if he couldn't find her that way. Earlier, Mia, you mentioned that the relationship between Mr. Combs and Cassie was violent. Is that right? Yes. Did you personally see any violence? Yes. What kinds of things did you see? I saw a lot of like aftermath, like injuries she had. I saw and heard like objection. Ms. Spicer, could we get more focused question? Yeah. So from when you were working with Mr. Combs and around Mr. Combs and Cassie, what, if any, kinds of violence did you yourself see? I've seen him attack her. I've seen him throw her on the ground. I've seen him like crack her, like head open. I've seen him chase her, things like that. Have you ever seen Cassie fight back? No. I've just seen her like put her arms up and like beg for him to stop. And approximately how many times have you seen this violence or signs of violence, like injuries you just mentioned? I don't know. Like it was all the time. I don't have a number. When was the first time you saw or heard physical violence between Mr. Combs and Cassie? I was in the 993 Beverly Grove Drive. So like 2009. What was the first thing you remember hearing when you were there? I remember upstairs, like loud, this thud. That's what I sounded like. I'm sorry, that's what it sounded like something hitting the wall. And the way that second floor was, it's that you can look down into the foyer from it, and that's where his bedroom was, up on the second floor. And I just remember seeing suitcases being thrown over like into the foyer. Did you see Cassie sometime after that? After the suitcases were thrown? Yes. Where was she? She was outside hiding and crying and shaking like behind a bush. And what, if anything, did she do when you saw her? She looked at me like she had the most terrified look in her eye, and she was kind of like waving her hands like, don't look. Essentially, like I'm going to be as if I'm like hiding, you know, like don't act like I'm not there kind of thing. After you saw Cassie waving her hands outside, what did you do? I retreated. Like I was still outside, but I followed like her instructions. I went away, but I was still like outside, just pretended like I didn't see her. Did you tell anyone about this incident? No. I didn't know what was happening. I went inside, and I think at the time, the chef was in the kitchen. I don't remember what I said exactly because I was so confused as to what was going on, and the sentiment was something like, don't. Objection, that's sustained. What did the chef say to you, if anything? Objection, it's not for the truth, Your Honor. Hold on, it's sustained. What are some of the locations after this where you saw or heard violence between Mr. Combs and Cassie? His house, his apartments, his hotels, events, traveling, and vacation. So that was important that he objected to that, because if you remember the testimony from Deontay, he was saying that it was really important for the defense that Deontay said that the security guards were trying to help Cassie. They never tried to hurt Cassie, or they weren't going along with Diddy hurting Cassie. So if the chef had said something as an employee, like, you know, don't intervene or something like that, I think it would have probably hurt the defense. His house or apartments, hotels, events, traveling, and on vacation. Let's talk about a few of those. You mentioned that something violent happened in Cassie's apartment. Is that right? Yes. Did that happen one time or multiple times? The time that stands out to me, like I have one. You mean like when I was present? Yeah. Is there one that sticks out in your mind? Yes. Let's talk about that. Which apartment was Cassie living at? She had an apartment on Doheny in Los Angeles. When approximately was this? Do you remember? It was definitely the second LA house when I lived there. I just don't remember the exact year. At the Beverly Crest houses that you were living at the time, yes. sometime between 2010 and 2014. It would have been earlier than 2014 because she moved into another apartment, I think 2013. What time of day was it when you were all in Cassie's apartment that day? I feel like it was very early evening. I think like it was dark out, but it wasn't super late. Who all was there? It was me, Cass, and Deontay. Who is Deontay? He was her stylist, but also like her friend, but her stylist. What were you and Cassie and Deontay doing that night? Helping Cass pack for a big trip. I think it was to London the next morning. Did there come a time when Mr. Combs came to the apartment? Yes. And what happened when he got to the apartment? He was like banging at the door, like very irate. I think he had a key. At some point, did he get inside? Yes. Do you remember exactly how he got inside? I feel like he got a key from the front desk. That's what my feeling is, because we had tried to talk to the doorman multiple times. Objection. We can move on, Your Honor. When Mr. Combs gets into the apartment, what if anything happens? What if anything was he saying? He was like screaming at Cass and like screaming, but asking like, have you been screaming? Have you been drinking at her? Because she didn't answer the phone. How close was he to Cassie when he got into the apartment? Very close. I'm seated here. My back is to like the balcony, and in front of me, like there, like where you are, is like the entrance to the apartment, and it opens up to like a living area combined with the kitchen. And on where the apartment entrance door is, like where you are, the wall to Cassie's bedroom is, and Cassie was pretty close to the door on the wall. So he was probably like a couple feet from that entrance door to the right, to my right. What, if anything, did Mr. Combs do when he was yelling about her drinking? He then came after like me and Deontay and was screaming the same thing. Like, has she been drinking? He was super upset. Has she been drinking? And he was like crazy aggressive, and he started to attack her. What did you see when he started to attack her? Like he threw her to the ground. How did you react when Mr. Combs threw Cassie to the ground? I feel like me and Deontay like immediately jumped in and tried to stop it because we were all alone, as in like I'm trying. I feel like me and Deontay like immediately jumped in and tried to stop it because we were all alone, as in like we jumped in to try to help. When you say you jumped in, what did you do? I feel like we were both trying to get him off her, but in this quick, I don't know how to do that, and I don't know. Deontay is very small in comparison to Puff, and it happened so fast. But there was some sort of, I don't know, little tornado going on. And at some point, he had Deontay in like a position where I was like scared he was going to like kill him, and I jumped on his back. What did Mr. Combs do when you jumped on his back? He threw me like against the wall, like so quick and so easily. Like I realized we were all in real danger. How fast was this all happening? It was so fast, but it felt like I was in slow motion, but it was really fast. What did Mr. Combs do after he threw you against the wall? He immediately like almost like slow motion, like I was sliding down the wall of some sort. The bedroom was to my left, and he immediately ran in, and I saw him grab Cass, and I like couldn't get there fast enough. Underneath her bed was like this wood, like a bed platform. And the corner was like the sharpest, strongest corner I've ever seen. And I just saw him like pick her up. And I thought he was actually going to kill her. And he like slammed her head into the corner like of the bed. What injuries did Cassie have as a result of Mr. Combs slamming her head into the bed? She just started like gushing blood, and she had ended up with this like pretty big, like clear scar on her like forehead. What did Mr. Combs do after Cassie's head was split open? He like immediately snapped into this protector survivor mode. He told me to like get Kayla, who was the assistant at the time, who had a relationship with the doctors. Get Kayla on the phone and tell her to call Dr. So-and-so and tell him that Cassie needs to see them immediately because she was drunk and fell and hit her head. Now, my guess is Dr. So-and-so is the same doctor who performed 2 breast augmentations on Cassie within a 1-week period, and then his car mysteriously flew off a Malibu cliff. Plastic surgeon flies off Malibu cliff. So his name was Frank Ryan. So what year was this happening? We're on page 148. So when was this? Do y'all remember if this was 2009? Oh no, so this could have been him. He died in 2010. She doesn't know the year. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the guy. This man performed breast augmentation on Cassie. Then Diddy saw the breast augmentation and said he didn't like it, and then had her go back into surgery 1 week later. Oh, you said she's... And his car flew off a cliff in Malibu. Interesting. Okay, so call Dr. So-and-so and tell him that Cassie needs to see him immediately because she was drunk and fell and hit her head. What did you do after Mr. Combs told you to call Kayla? I called Kayla. Why did you do that? Because I thought that was the only way to get her help and because Puff told me to. Stepping back to just a moment, how did Mr. Combs appear when he was in Cassie's apartment? It's like his eyes turned like black and he was like, there was like no getting through. I was trying to get him to stop and it was like he was looking like through me. And it was the first time that I guess it was the first time I had realized like the severe danger that we were actually in. He was like completely like the judge. Let's get the next question. Were there other times when you saw that look in his eyes? Yes. When typically did you see it? When he was in a fit of rage or angry or violent? Mia, during the time you worked for Mr. Combs, were there times where you saw Mr. Combs take drugs? Yes. Were there times when he appeared high to you? Yes. What did you observe in the instances in which Mr. Combs appeared high? Sometimes he would be having so much fun and he would be the life of the party. Sometimes he would just be a little bit, he would be really hyper sometimes. And sometimes drooling. His eyes would drooling. Or sometimes he would be like wearing sunglasses. The ninja was drooling? What? So what kind of drugs has you like drooling? How high do you have to be to literally just be standing there drooling? I know like the synthetic marijuana. That's crazy. The synthetic when the synthetic marijuana hit, it's super cheap. It hit the homeless population really hard. And I remember being, I'm trying to think, was I walking in downtown or was I in the restaurant? Anyway, there was a homeless man who had decided to pee, but he peed on a window that was attached to like a Michelin rated restaurant. But he was in suspended animation. So literally he's just standing there as if he's peeing, facing people in the restaurant as they eat, because that synthetic marijuana would just have you looking like a zombie. You just wouldn't move in whatever suspended animation you were in. And I just remember that distinctly. And that's when I asked, like, what was that? Because I asked the cops. I saw it. I asked the cops and they were like, whatever the street name for it is, it's synthetic marijuana. And then another homeless person, to get out of the high rise that I worked in, the cars were backed up and they were backed up for like 30 minutes. Because it's like a corporate building and then they have corporate parking. And so everybody tries to leave at the same time. But what had happened was a homeless person was in suspended animation right at the gate. So nobody wanted to touch or move them. So they had to wait till the police came to move them. That stuff hit really, really. Oh, K2. K2, okay. It was a mirror glass. No, you could see the people. Like, no, it wasn't like mirrored at all. It was a really, really nice restaurant, and you could see the people and they could see you. He just didn't care. But yeah, anyway. He would be drooling. On what occasions did you typically see him like this? Mostly partying, like Ibiza, Burning Man, or clubs at a music conference. On this occasion, when he slammed Cassie's head into her bed frame, did you see any indication that Mr. Combs was high? No. Mia, earlier, you mentioned that when you and Cassie were together, if you would leave without Mr. Combs' permission, sometimes scary things would happen. Do you remember saying that? Yes. Was there ever a time that you went to a party without Mr. Combs' permission? Yeah, one time. Yes, we did. Who went with you? Cassie. Whose party did you go to? Prince. When approximately was this? I think it was either like 2011 or 2012, something like that. Are you estimating? Yes, I'm estimating. What was happening the night before the Prince party? I believe it was a big awards show of some sort, and Puff had gotten a suite at the Beverly Hills Hotel to like get ready. Were you in the suite? Yes. Was Cassie? Yes. What did Mr. Combs tell you to do that night? At the end of the night, he told me to stay with Cass, like stay the night with Cass at a hotel. What, if anything, did Mr. Combs say about what he was doing that night? He told me to keep her company and make sure she doesn't come to the house because he was telling her that he was going to be with the kids. Did you expect to see Mr. Combs that night? No. So at some point, did you learn that this party was happening at Prince's house? Yes. How did you learn that? A good friend of ours called and said that Prince was having like an intimate party at his home up the street. What did you do after you got that call? Cass and I debated like little kids if we should sneak out of the house for probably felt like forever. Did you go to the party at Prince's? Yes. What happened when you got to the party? We like danced on this purple uplit plexiglass covering an indoor pool and hung out with our friends. And Prince performed like on a little table. We were just having fun. Did there come a time when Mr. Combs showed up to the party? Yes. What did you see when Mr. Combs showed up? I saw like his bucket hat come through the entrance and made eye contact with him. So you and Mr. Combs locked eyes. Yes. How did you react after that? Like, oh crap, me and Cass just booked it. You and Cassie started running? Yes. It's not funny. This feels like children when these people are very much adults. It tells you like the environment. So this nigga can literally go out and do whatever he wants, however he wants to. He's supposed to be with the kids, but now he's at Prince's party, but you're in trouble because you're not allowed to leave the hotel or the house unless I tell you. That's prison. I would want to go to the party. How do you like an intimate party where Prince is like literally singing on a table? I mean, like, who gets to go to Prince's house? Like, that's a once in a lifetime. We ran through the house, which was quite confusing. And we were trying, when you make it out of the yard, there was like something across the street that looked like, I don't know if it was woods or not, but somewhere to hide, like bushes. And we were trying to hide there. What happened while you were running? Puff caught us. Oh, Puff caught Cass. When you say he caught Cass, what do you mean? Like he caught up to her and had her on the ground. What happened after Mr. Combs got Cassie to the ground? He started to attack her, but Prince's security like swiftly intervened. Where did you go after you saw Prince's security intervene? I don't remember. Like I was like hiding or how I got there, but I ended up like hiding at a different hotel. You're not at the same hotel where you were earlier that night. No, I'm not. Did you hear from anyone who worked for Mr. Combs while you were at the hotel? The next day, yes. Who did you hear from? Vasta, I believe. And Vasta is a part of human resources? Yes. She was the head of human resources. What did Vasta tell you? That Puff was suspending me without pay and that I was like in big trouble. What did she say was the reason that you were going to be suspended without pay? She just said that Puff said I was being insubordinate. What, if anything, did Vasta say about Mr. Combs' behavior the night before? Nothing. Okay, that's a problem. So I know that people don't feel necessarily like there was a criminal enterprise. Oh, y'all should have told me to take this off because I know y'all are like reading along. But your employer cannot just suspend you without pay because you went to a party with his girlfriend. That's not something that you can do. You can't make her work without pay, which is something that you're already doing. You can't violently hit her. You can't, like, we haven't even gotten to the R word yet. So I want to know in the chat, because I know that there's all kinds of people watching. Do you feel like the prosecution has established at the very least that he was involved or the head of a criminal enterprise? Because I know a lot of people are saying, you know, this just sounds like abuse. But I personally feel like we're past that. This sounds like, I would say the mafia, but there's only one top of this. There's only one top, and it's Diddy. I feel like they've established it. I would be very surprised if the jury came back and said that they did not see that a criminal enterprise had been formed. She just said that Puff said I was being insubordinate. What, if anything, did Vassal say about his behavior? Nothing. Your Honor, I'm about to move on to a new topic, which I can do, or it might be a good time to stop. And that's fine. We can take our lunch break. Let's see. We're not going through all that. Okay. Is there anything to raise before the jury's back? No. Let's bring her back in. Okay. Mia, before we broke, you were talking about some incidents of violence between Mr. Combs and Cassie. Yes. And you had mentioned earlier that sometimes violence happened when you were on a vacation with Mr. Combs and Cassie. Yes. Have you ever traveled to Turks and Caicos with Mr. Combs? Yes. Where did you go in Turks? We went to an island called Parrot Cay or Parrot Cay. And how many times have you been to Parrot Cay? Twice. When approximately did you go? Around 2012. Who was on these trips? Just me, Puff, and Cass. Did violence happen on these trips? Yes. Once or more than once? More than once. Focusing on violence between Cassie and Mr. Combs and Turks, is there an incident that sticks out in your mind? Yes. Where were you when you heard about the incident? I was sleeping in my bedroom. Did there come a time when you were woken up? Yes. How were you woken up? I was woken up to Cass running and screaming into the room. What was Cass saying? She was screaming for help and saying, "You got to help me. He is going to kill me." What was her tone of voice when she was saying this? Cass is normally very chill, like calm, and it was like the most terrified, like someone screaming for their life. What did you and Cassie do after she got into your room? We started pushing furniture in front of the door to block it. Damn, okay. Side note, clearly this girl is not accustomed. This is not her life. But her and Deontay are the only two that ever tried to intervene when Cassie was getting beat. Now Cassie is saying, "Help me." This is the girl you want in your corner. This is a ride or die. She knows she could probably get her ass beat too, but she is literally trying to put space in between Diddy, her boss, and Cassie, the woman being victimized. She is literally putting furniture next to the door. Everybody needs a Deontay and a Mia. Like this woman is a ride or die for real. Everybody else is probably telling Cassie, "Oh no, he won't hurt you. He won't hurt you." And that was just a way to get in so he could beat you. What kind of furniture did you move? I just remember being like heavy wood, like wooden furniture. The bed was pretty close to the door, like maybe a chair and maybe like a trunk of some sort. Maybe like trying to push the bed, stacked them to block the door. Did there come a time when Mr. Combs got to the door? Yes. What did he do at the door? He was banging and screaming. After you all barricaded the door with furniture, what did you do? So there was an entrance to the bedroom that he was at from inside the house. And in the back, I had like a little porch that went out to the beach. So we ran out that entrance and down the beach. Just to clarify, you ran out of the back of your room, yes. Do you remember anything about running in this situation? I just remember we were running like so fast down the beach. And I remember like being shocked at the fact that we could still be attacked by mosquitoes as we were running. Do you remember how that incident ended? I don't remember how it ended, but I don't remember what happened after we got wherever we were going. Were there any other items when you and Cassie had to run from Mr. Combs and Turks? Yes. Was there any other time you had to run from the beach? Yes. Do you remember what happened before you ran? I don't remember what happened before we ran. I just remember I have like another visual, like where we were hiding, and another visual like we were trying to escape like two separate times. Let's talk about when you were trying to escape. Where were you running to? We ran to the beach and there was stand-up paddle boards. What did you do with the paddle boards? We got them and paddled out. Where was Mr. Combs? He was like running back and forth on the beach behind the house, like screaming at us. How did Mr. Combs appear when he was running on the beach? Irate. Who was with you on the paddle boards? Cassie. What were you all doing on the paddle boards? It was really flat and we were able to get out very far. Like I just remember the house getting smaller and smaller. What was the weather like when you were on the paddle boards? It was perfect. And then it shifted dramatically and the sky like turned black. What were you thinking when the sky turned black? We were both, objection, overruled. You can answer. We were both debating. Hold on. The judge says, hold on. Can you ask the question again? Mia, I'll just ask. Listen to the question and make sure you answer it. Focusing you, Mia, not on Cassie. What were you thinking when the sky turned black? I was thinking I was trying to weigh if it was scarier to face Mother Nature or go back to Puff. The fuck? Like a possible hurricane or a storm or giant waves that are going to come when the storm comes, or Puffy is crazy. She went from not Jack Black. Who was she working for? Dude from SNL. What was his name? Who was the guy she was working for from SNL? Mike Myers. She went from Mike Myers to a monster. The most Mike Myers would do was potentially call her one day a weekend and say, can you get something for me? Or one time a week after 7 p.m. to this, to hiding for your life, or deciding if you want to face a hurricane on a paddleboard or go back to Puffy and potentially get your ass beat. What did you end up doing? We eventually went back to Puff. It just took a long time. We have now, Mia, talked about several times in which you saw or heard violence between Mr. Combs and Cassie. Were those all the times that you saw or heard violence between them? No. Just some of them. Just some of them? Did you ever call the police after you saw incidents of violence? No. Why not? For multiple reasons. I believe that Puff's authority was above the police. Damn. This is also a time period. This is years and years before social media, Me Too, or any sort of example where someone had stood up successfully to someone in power such as him. Also, like, I was taught to believe that this fell under the confidentiality, or loyalty, or like Puff's business. What did that confidentiality mean to you? That was the most important thing. And Puff had told me that I was supposed to protect him from people because there were so many people trying to blackmail him. So I came to believe that reporting anything was blackmail. So we're just going to play devil's advocate, because the allegations are that Puffy would get you in a compromising position, whether you were high, on drugs, or having sex, let you know he has those tapes and use them as leverage, i.e. blackmail you to do something that he wants you to do, or not to report something on him. But he's convincing his employees that it's normal that I beat on my girlfriend, that's just love, and more importantly, don't report this because it's been imprinted into your brain that you are supposed to be there to protect me. That's me as a person and me as in all of my business interests. And if you don't protect my business interests, then more than likely you'll be blackballed. Wow. That is definitely, I feel like that's the definition of a mind fuck. Did you ever go to the police about Mr. Combs' violence towards Cassie? No. Mia, besides what we've talked about so far, are there any other times you remember seeing injuries on Cassie? Yes. What kinds of injuries did you see? I would see bruises on her body, like fat lips, busted eyebrow, like a gash on her forehead, black eyes, things like that. I'm going to show you what's been marked, blah, blah, blah. Do you recognize this? It's a photo of Cassie eating a hot dog at the premiere of her movie, The Perfect Match. How do you know what this is? I took the photo. Is it fair and accurate representation of Cassie? Yes. You said you took this photo. Yes. Remind us where Cassie was at the time, at the premiere of her movie, The Perfect Match. Could you, we're not zooming in. Could you talk about what, if any, injuries you see on Cassie in this photograph? Yes. She has bruising on her arm and then under her eye. Were these injuries covered in makeup at this time? Yes. You can take that down. Mia, do you recognize this photo? Yes. Where was it? It was on a red carpet at the Cannes Film Festival. When approximately was this? May of 2012. And were you at Cannes that year? Yes. Could you take that down? What, if any, injuries did you see on Cassie? She had a busted lip, and I don't remember the other ones, but she was injured. Where were you when you saw her injuries? I don't remember the first time, but the first time I remember was in her hotel room. Who else was in her hotel room? It was me, Cass, Larry Sims, her hairstylist. Did you have an understanding of how she got these injuries? Yes. How did you learn that? Cass had taken an audio recording. What did Cassie say about the audio recording? that it was Puff attacking her. Did you listen to the audio recording? Yes. Without getting into what was said on it, did you recognize the voices on the audio recording? Yes. Whose voices did you recognize? Cass and Puff's. What was Cassie's tone of voice in the audio recording? Objection, panicked. Overruled. You said panicked, panicked. What, if anything, was Mr. Combs saying on the recording? He was cursing at her. I don't remember like the exact words or what he was yelling at her. What was his tone of voice? It was very, very, very angry. Besides their voices, what else did you hear on the recording? Like the sound of someone getting hit and being attacked, essentially. After you listened to this recording, Mia and saw Cassie's injuries, did the two of you go to any events at the film festival? Yes. What events did you go to? We went to the premiere of Brad Pitt's movie, Killing Them Softly. Who else was with you, Puff? What happened at the premiere? I was sitting next to Puff and Cass, and it was silent because it was the premiere of a movie. And Puff was talking to Cass, but with like grit. Like talking like with his teeth clenched, but in an aggressive way. I looked over, and he was like digging his nails into her arm. What happened after that? So I just remember being in a movie premiere. You don't get up and walk out. And I remember, I don't know the order of it, but he had made her leave and maybe go get her and then maybe leave with them. It was kind of like back and forth. Do you typically get up and leave during movie premieres? No, not at all. Taking just a step back, Mia, were these all the times that you saw Cassie injured? Or just some of them? Some of them. What, if anything, would Mr. Combs ask you to do when Cassie was injured? Sometimes he would say, like, go take care of her. What kinds of things would you do when you were taking care of her? Bring her whatever she needed and just hang out. Sorry, sugar break. I really do love that y'all are in court with me. If you didn't know, that was a red velvet sprinkles cupcake at my dinner. Oh, thank you. Sherry, thank you for the Cash App. Deidre, thank you for the Cash App. Renetta, I see you tried to send one earlier, but that didn't work. Tony, Ashley B, your Cash Apps came through. Gwendolyn, yours too. Maya, yours too. Dana, yours too. Allison, Charity, and Prop Management. Thank you guys. I don't know why that one didn't go through, but thank you guys for the Cash Apps. Those are for the last couple days. Keisha says, I need concrete proof he unalived people. So far, nothing. That's fair. Okay, what kind of things would he bring her? I remember specifically because I didn't know what it was for like arnica gel. My mom used to use that on me. Besides like anything that she could get because she couldn't leave where she was. Did you ever have an understanding of what arnica gel is used for? Yes. What? It's for bruises. When would you go take care of Cassie in these situations? Where would she typically be? Before she had her own place, hotels. What was her understanding of why she was in the hotel? Because her injuries were too obvious to cover up. When you went to visit her, could you and Cassie leave the hotel together? No. Why not? We were not allowed. Who decided that? Puff. When would Cassie leave the hotel? Once her injuries were like healed enough to cover up. Mia. Next, I want to direct your attention to December 22nd, 2011. As I'm listening to this testimony, I'm going back to Cassie's original testimony. I think it's really effed up with Gina not testifying because Cassie is one thing. You can go back and you can watch the Tasha K interview with Gina, but it's very different because just like Cassie had a handler, Gina had to have handlers as well that Puff put in place to ensure that she fell in line. So it would have been good for the prosecution to be able to show that Gina was also allegedly involved in this enterprise. Because if he's doing this to Cassie, I'm sure he's doing it to Gina. I'm sure all of the women were probably getting beat, but it's just all of the people involved in prepping them or getting to them, or Gina probably had an assistant as well. It's crazy that she's choosing to go this route. Like, I feel like Gina is probably still actively in love with Diddy. Now, Kim was a little different. I think that Kim, Diddy, put her above everybody else. She was beat initially, but y'all have to remember, Kim stabbed Diddy at a certain point, especially after Kim always said, and this isn't what I'm saying, this is what, people who knew her said, where she drew the line was somebody having a baby on her. Albie Shore had a baby on her. Then Diddy had 2 babies on her. Then Diddy had, when she was having her twins, Diddy had a baby on her. Additionally, Kim got tired of getting beat and she stabbed him. So, through this testimony from the assistants, we know that the assistants were setting up hotel rooms. So she was still actively sleeping with Diddy, apparently. But I don't think that he was beating her in the same way because she had took that knife to him. Yeah. Okay, blah, blah, blah. We were not allowed. Who decided that? Puff. When would Cass leave the hotel once your injuries were healed and enough to cover up? Mia, next I want to direct your attention to December 22nd, 2011. Did you take a trip to New York around that time? Yes. Where were you before you left for New York? I was in LA at Puff's 9374 address. What was the mood at Mr. Combs' house that morning? It was dark. Wait, hold on. December 22nd, 2011. Was that the Kid Cudi day? Kid Cudi, December 22nd, 2011. I think that might have been that day. Okay, yeah, so that was the Capricorn Clark day. Okay, guys. Okay, here we go. We're getting to some stuff. So December 11, 2011, what was the mood? It was dark. The energy felt really bad, but in a different way than normal. What do you mean by that? Different way than normal. It was because normally I was used to when the energy was bad and he was mad, but this was more of I don't know, how do I describe it? When Puff was, instead of just mad, Puff was upset. But question, at some point, Mia, before you left, did you talk to Mr. Combs? Yes. What did he tell you? He had told me that he had found out that Cass had been talking to somebody else. Did he say who that person was? Yes. Who was it? Kid Cudi. How did it appear when he was saying this? Heartbroken. How did this compare to other times in which Mr. Combs was upset with Cassie? Normally, he was just angry and aggressive. And this time he felt like almost this dark, calm before the storm. Not calm before the storm, some sort of ominous. All these times before, I had never witnessed Cass do something to cause him to be upset. And this was the first time that something had happened where, naturally a person would be upset about. So I felt like I was bracing myself for something really bad to happen. Did you see Cassie that morning from a distance? Where was she? She was in a black SUV in front of the house. Who, if any, was with her? Capricorn Clark. Then you said at some point you left to go to New York. Is that right? Yes. When you left, did you reach out to any other employees? Yes. Who did you reach out to? Sienna Lee was the assistant there at the time, and D-Rock was security. Why were you reaching out to Sienna? Because I was worried about objection, overruled. You can answer. I was worried about Sienna. I didn't believe it had ever had to navigate. I did not believe it ever had to navigate a situation like that on her own. And then I was also worried about Cass, and I was worried about Puff. And D-Rock is my big brother, and we both were close with Puff and sort of felt responsible for making sure everybody was okay. Would you and D-Rock communicate about this kind of thing typically? All the time. All the time. All right, Mia. So, Ms. Foster, could you please display blah, blah, blah. We're not doing that. It's an email between me and D-Rock. How do you know? Because I recognize it in our email addresses. Okay. Blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. So focusing on your communications with D-Rock, what were some of the reasons you were communicating with D-Rock in this situation? Objection, that's overruled. You can answer. Because D-Rock and Puff were really close and Puff had just... Objection. All right, let's get a new question. Would you typically communicate with D-Rock as part of your job? Yes. And would you communicate with D-Rock about situations like this as part of your job? All the time. And why would you do that? because D-Rock and I, it was like this also a family dynamic situation. Like he was my big brother, and like we would have to figure out, we would have to know what was going on to like help them and also protect them. I mean, it was just, and were you and D-Rock both employed by Mr. Combs? Yes. And what was D-Rock's job? D-Rock was security. And was it part of D-Rock's job to protect Mr. Combs? Yes. Another exhibit. This is an email thread between me and D-Rock. So I want to direct your attention to the message at the bottom. Who sent that message? I did. And this message starts with, I'm currently Neil's. Who is Neil? Neil was another assistant. Could you please read the message? I'm currently at Neil's third home right now, the Sky, and I'm on my way to NYC. Hit this email when you land. I got to talk to you when I get there. Love you. At the end of the message, you said, love you. Why did you say that? Oh, that's how I talk to everybody I care about. Were you romantically involved with D-Rock? Damn. No. D-Rock then says, what's up? I'm on the way to my crib. What did you say in response? I'm just super worried about P. I have no clue what's going on, and I don't usually care to know details since they're usually the same, but something felt wrong this morning. This awful energy. What is going on? It has me sickly worried. I'll call you when I land. And who is P here? Puff. And you said the details are usually the same. What do you mean by that? As in when he's upset with Cass or they weren't getting along. And how was this different? Because Puff was like acting different and was hurt. All right. D-Rock then says, yeah, it's crazy right now. We definitely need to talk. Love you. And when D-Rock said, love you here, what did you understand that to mean? It was just how we always say, like, love you. Like, and how did you respond? K, I'll hit you when I land. Love you too. Could you please display the first, just for the witness, blah, blah, blah. It's an email between me and Puff. Blah, 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 blah. The date, December 22nd, 2011, 11:16 a.m. Who sent it? I did. When did you send this? Excuse me. I sent this when I was taking off on the flight to New York. And what did you say? About to take off, love you. Were you saying love you romantically? No. Why did you say it? I always said it. How did Mr. Combs respond? Love you too. How often did you say things like that? All the time, just normal. I don't think that's normal. You can take that down. All right, Mia, I want to turn. I mean, she says it's like a family, but yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. We want to go to a new topic. About from when Cassie was in hotels for injuries, like we discussed earlier, when you were working with Mr. Combs, were there ever times when Mr. Combs and Cassie went to hotels together? Yes. And how did you refer to these nights? Hotel nights. How long did hotel nights typically last? They were all different. It depended sometimes. Pardon me. If Puff had worked like a bunch of stuff on his schedule, the next day, sometimes it could be one night. Sometimes it could be multiple nights. And I think you mentioned earlier that Tony Fletcher booked hotels. Yes. Were there any other employees later in your tenure who helped book hotels? Yes. Who? The executive assistants would, but also Melissa Fiola. What, if anything, was your role related to these hotel nights? I would sometimes take them there, unpack them, set up. And then I would have to just be, anytime Puff wanted me to bring, like, I had to be on call, essentially if he needed anything. And then pick them up and also, like, clean up before housekeeping. So you said a few things there, so I want to break them down. You said you would sometimes take them to the hotel. Who is them? Oh, sorry. Puff and Cass. And you also said you would set up hotel rooms. Is that right? Yes. What kind of supplies would you bring to set up these hotel rooms? All of his, like, toiletries and clothes and candles, any sort of things, like rider items. And what other toiletries would you bring? Like all of his lotions and potions, like baby oil, Astroglide, condoms. You mentioned candles. Were there any particular brands of candles? Yeah, there was a mixture of like these cheap and expensive ones. The cheap ones they all had to be white. But the cheap ones were the Glade white linen with the label off. And then the expensive ones were Diptyque. Have you heard of Diptyque? How much is a Diptyque candle? $76, $430, $230. It's more expensive than the Baccarat candle. I've never heard of that. Oh, so y'all haven't heard of it. Okay, so y'all have heard. Okay, so y'all must be the rich ones because I've never heard of these candles. And you mentioned that sometimes you were on call during these nights. Yes. Would Mr. Combs call you? Yeah. And what typically would he contact you about? Just anything that he needed to be brought to the hotel or unexpected to-do list. What kinds of things would he ask you to bring to the hotel? Anything he forgot at the house or like food, or if he asked like security to bring him anything and I was already going there, then I would bring whatever he asked security to bring, which is usually like money. And so when you would get money from security to bring to the hotel, approximately how much money would you be bringing? I never counted it, but I could see it. It was a lot. It was like thousands of dollars. Was there ever a time you saw Cassie during a hotel? Yes. Once or more than once. More than once. Is there a time that sticks out to you? Yes. Where were you when you saw Cassie during the hotel night? The London Hotel in New York. And why were you at the hotel? Puff asked me to bring something to the hotel. I don't remember what. So after Mr. Combs asked you to bring something to the hotel, what did you do? I would bring it, but I would say, like, do you want me to leave it at the front desk or do you want me to bring it up? On this occasion, did you bring this up to the room? Yes. Who answered the door? Cass. What was she wearing? A bright blue wig. Do you remember she was wearing clothes? She opened the door. I don't remember her not wearing clothes. That doesn't stick out. She opened the door like really small. So she just peeked out the door. Yeah. And how did Cassie appear to you when she peeked out the door? Like she was struggling. Different than I had seen her before. So much that I asked, are you good? Like essentially, like, are you okay? And what did Cassie do after you asked her if she was okay? She was like, no, I'm okay. I'm good, like that. And closed the kind of like, shh, I'm good. And closed the door. Mia, you mentioned that you also did clean up of the hotel rooms. Is that right? Who instructed you to clean up the hotel rooms? I feel like it's about to get nasty. Who instructed you to clean up the hotel rooms? Puff. But it was also a part like from the office, like standard procedure that you called. It was called sweep. Like you would sweep wherever he was. Like wherever he was, yeah. What, if anything, did Mr. Combs say to you about why you were supposed to clean these hotel rooms? Because you wanted to clean up enough stuff that wouldn't be like a housekeeper couldn't take and run to TMZ or expose anything of his personal private business. What did the hotel rooms typically look like when you cleaned them? A nightmare. And what did you mean when you say nightmare? They were just destroyed, like really messy. I feel like if they're asking in this detail, we're about to get something like, excuse my language, but like piss or something. They were just destroyed, really messy. And what specific kinds of damage did you see? I saw a lot of candle wax everywhere that was like impossible to get out. There would be lots of like wet towels everywhere. I've seen broken glass, water all over the floor, sometimes blood. Oil all over, furniture and walls and things like that. You mentioned blood. What, if anything, did Mr. Combs tell you about the source of the blood? That it was period blood. He openly told you, go clean the room, and the blood on the bed or the floor or whatever is period blood. Mia, were you ever with Cassie before a hotel night? Yes. Once or more than once? More than once. Is there a time that sticks out to you? Yes. Where were you on that occasion? I was in Cassie's car in LA. What, if anything, happened in Cassie's car? She got a message and she was like, ugh. She was like, ugh, like upset, like, ugh. Puff wants to have a hotel night. And she was like visibly like upset and like more like nervous, like really nervous. And she started getting like stomach issues because of it. Did she get sick? Yeah. Mia, what did Mr. Combs and Cassie do after the hotel nights? We called it like man down because they would, whether it was like at a hotel or a house or wherever, they would basically stay in a room and sleep for, a day or 2 or 3, just wake up to eat. Next, I want to talk about a different topic, and I want to talk about drugs. Aside from marijuana, before you started working with Mr. Combs, had you taken drugs? No. While you were working for him, did you take drugs? Yes. How often? Not often. It was probably like a handful or 2 handfuls of times. And when you took these drugs, was it with Mr. Combs or without Mr. Combs or both? Both. The times you took drugs with Mr. Combs, who provided the drugs? Puff. Where were you when you did drugs aside from marijuana the first time? At Puff's Miami house during Winter Music Conference Party. And do you remember when approximately this was? I don't remember the year because every year we had a party during Winter Music Conference at his Miami home, but I don't remember which year it was. And who gave you the drugs on this occasion? Puff. What kind of drugs? It was MDMA. And what, if anything, did Mr. Combs say when he gave you MDA? That I was now like a part of his the Breakfast Club. And what did you understand the Breakfast Club to mean? It was like a close circle of friends that like partied through breakfast. Like it was like the cool kids club. I don't know. What did Mr. Combs say about MDMA? That it was the best because all of his stuff was pure. And did you take MDMA? Yes. Why did you take it? Because I felt safe and protected by doing this under Puff's, I guess, supervision. And I also knew the dynamic would shift now I was, a friend hanging out and could enjoy myself. Yeah. So you felt like you were more like a friend than an employee in that instance. Yeah. And you said that you felt safe taking MDA on that occasion. Why was that? Because Puff was like my only authority, and I believed everything he told me. Yeah, I don't know how to explain that, and he told you that you had the best drug. He told you that he had the best drugs. Yes. What, if any, effect did the MDMA have on you? I made a lot of new friends. I was smiling a lot. I hugged everybody I saw. And yeah, I was very happy. What other kinds of drugs did Mr. Combs provide you? That like that Molly, MDMA, and then the one-time ketamine. So you remember him providing MDA and ketamine, is that right? Yes. Focusing on the ketamine, where were you? Burning Man. And where exactly at Burning Man were you? We were on a tour bus where where we were sleeping, but he was basically hosting a bunch of people on it, like he was partying on it. How did it come about Mr. Combs giving you ketamine? He had put all the blackout shades up and put the disco lights on and pulled out 3 plates. And there was white powder on each plate. And it was presented as some sort of game. Like he said, only one was Molly, one was cocaine, and one was ketamine. And people were taking turns going up, I guess playing some guessing. This is some weird shit. Playing a guessing game. And what, if anything, did Mr. Combs say to you when these 3 plates of drugs were out? That it was my turn. And how did you react when Mr. Combs said it was your turn? I was really nervous. So I tried to say no. What happened after you tried to say no? Puff wouldn't let it go and was at first sort of making jokes about it, but then it turned a little bit more serious. And what do you mean it turned more serious? His tone started to change. Like I was going to mess up the whole vibe. And he was monitoring because I tried to fake it, fake snort it. And he got close to my face and was upset that I just tried to, I guess, fake it. So you were trying to fake taking drugs. Yeah. And how did Mr. Combs react to that? He was humiliating me and then was going to separate, basically monitor and separate the amount that I needed to take. So did he separate out a dose? Yes. And what did you understand you were supposed to do with it? Snort it. And what did you do? I did, but then when I got away from him for a minute, I blew it out. I blew a lot of it out because I was so scared of the ketamine, watching what it would do to others. Had you ever taken ketamine before? No. And you said you were watching what ketamine did to others. What did you see? We had a friend that had just gone through what looked like an exorcism, and they called it a K-hole, which I guess means you have done too much. It didn't look I don't know. It wasn't it didn't look like you were in control of yourself. And then another friend next to me had just also gone into one, but seemed to be enjoying it. I don't know. It just wasn't the atmosphere for me. Did you take the ketamine? No. Why did you take it? I didn't think I had a choice. I think, Mia, you said earlier that when you were working for Mr. Combs, you saw him do drugs. Is that right? Yes. What kind of drugs have you seen him do? I've seen him take Molly, MDA, ketamine, and then prescriptions, but I don't know which ones. And on what occasions did you see him do drugs? Mostly in a party situation. Yeah. And were there any other occasions other than parties when Mr. Combs appeared to be high? Yes. And when were those occasions? There were a few times, at the studio, and then there were a handful of times that I remember that stuck out to me where I thought this is inappropriate time. One time I was at a board meeting. One time I was going to the Chelsea Handler show. There were just a few times where I was oh my gosh, when am I going to have to pull him out to the side and say you look a little crazy at the moment? And so during these times, when Mr. Combs appeared high and did he do any work? Well, to me, Puff was always working essentially. But yeah, he did. Yeah, he was in his work situations. Yeah. And from what you could see, where did Mr. Combs store his drugs? In his med bag. What is the med bag? The med bag was like a Louis Vuitton pouch, essentially, that held like his prescriptions and sort of like a gold traveling medicine cabinet. From what you know, what was kept inside the med bag? A bunch of prescriptions. I'm not really sure which. Like, I'm not really sure which ones. And I remember seeing like, I tried not to like snoop in there, but I remember seeing like a plastic baggie with like yellow pills. And then like, I remember seeing pills with sort of stamps on them. Like, I don't know, happy faces with the eyes X'd out or something like that. And where typically was the med bag? Wherever Puff was. Okay, Mia, next I want to talk about your relationship with Mr. Combs. At a high level, how would you describe how Mr. Combs treated you when you were working for him? At a high level, he treated me like his best friend, like his like working partner. Sometimes he treated me like I was a worthless piece of crap. And so when Mr. Combs was treating you like his best friend or his working partner, what kind of things would he say to you? The mood would be different, or he would be talking to me about like, we could talk about like personal stuff. He would, sometimes, yeah, like compliment like the work I was doing, or he would sometimes act as my protector. He would sometimes give me life advice or sorry, that's okay. When you said there were times that he treated you like you were worthless, what kind of things would he do in these situations? He would humiliate me. He would curse at me. He would go on like really long extended rants about how incompetent and stupid I was. He would threaten my job. Would he do anything to you physically? Yeah, he's thrown things at me. You know, Mia, when things were good and you were talking about when you were work partners, were there times that you and Mr. Combs talked about job opportunities? Yes. And what were those discussions? Before Revolt Films, especially when times were hard, as in there, you know, I had a lot of things, a billion trillion things on my plate. He would say things like, you know, one day you can do whatever you want at any of my companies. And that's when I was like, I don't want to. And I told him what I really wanted to do, which was like create and develop film and TV projects, especially comedy. And he said that's what he wanted to do too. And what would he say about those creative and TV projects when he was upset with you? Oh, he would threaten to take them away, or he would take them away, take away my credits, tell me he's not doing them, things like that. So I want to circle back to a few things you just talked about. I think you mentioned that sometimes when Mr. Combs was upset, he would throw things at you. What kinds of things would he throw at you? One time he threw like a bowl of spaghetti at me, turkey meat, a phone, a computer. A bowl of spaghetti is crazy. Let's talk about a few things. He probably made her clean it up too. Focusing first on the bowl of spaghetti. Where were you when he threw that at you? I was in the kitchen at the Beverly Crest Drive house. And just to remind us, approximately 2010 to 2014, yes. And what time of day was it? It was like 3 a.m. Who was around at the house? I don't remember, like with security or if there were any other assistants working, but whoever was with us in that capacity. And then a bunch of people that he had brought back from his club appearance. So Mr. Combs threw the bowl at you. What, if anything, did he tell you to do? He said, go get everybody IHOP right now. And what did you do after he said that? I started to walk. I started to go down to my room. And why were you going to your room? Because we had been out since like 8 a.m, like go. And I was next to him and barely got a break. And I was on my period and needed to change my tampon immediately. How did Mr. Combs react when you started going towards your room? He was pissed. And what, if anything, did he say? Like, yo, girl, I didn't tell you. Like when I told you to go to IHOP, I meant like now. I didn't tell you could go to your fucking room. And I tried to say something and it made him more like aggressive and louder and like going on sort of really humiliating rant in front of everybody. And what did you try to say to him? Well, after it went on for so long, there was literally blood dripping down my leg. And I finally just said, like, I just have to change my tampon. I have blood dripping down my leg. And how did Mr. Combs react to that? He immediately, he had a bowl of spaghetti in his hand and immediately threw it at me aggressively and started cursing me out and telling me I better get the fuck out of his house then he chased me outside. That's tough. Did the bowl hit you? No. How close was it to you? It was like a few feet, like a couple feet, like I don't know, arm's length maybe. Did anyone intervene? No. And you said Mr. Combs chased you outside? Yes. I don't know if he made it outside, but he chased me like up the stairs and I ran out of the house barefoot. Where did you go after that? I ran and hid in like a bush and then eventually I escaped to, I believe, a hotel. Did there come a time when someone from Human Resources talked to you about this incident? Yes. Who talked to you? I believe it was Vashta. At a high level, what do you remember Vashta telling you? That I was going to be suspended without pay. That's because Puff, that's what Puff said. And what did they say was the reason that you were going to be suspended? Because Puff was the boss and that's what he wanted. Did he say anything about Mr. Combs throwing the bowl, chasing you out of the house? No. All right, Mia, you also mentioned that Mr. Combs threw a computer at you. Yes. Where were you when that happened? In LA on his trailer at a music video set. Do you remember when this was? I think it was like maybe 2000, like 11 or 12. Who was around on this movie set? On his trailer was like his barber, I believe Derek, his stylist. I remember Swiss Beats and I think Capricorn and just whoever else was working. Okay. What, if anything, did Mr. Combs ask you to do before he threw the computer at you? We had just arrived and he was like, the Wi-Fi is not working. So I ran to go find production assistant and just let them know and see if they were like fixing the situation. And they were. Did you return to Mr. Combs after figuring out the Wi-Fi situation? Yes. What did you tell him about the Wi-Fi? I was trying to tell him what the production assistant had told me, that they were working on it, but he didn't let me finish. And what did he do at that point? He cut me off and started screaming at me like I shouldn't come back here until I figured out the Wi-Fi myself. Something about I don't care if you have to call Bill Gates. And then he chucked the computer at my head. So he threw the computer at you. Mm-hmm. Did the computer hit you? No. How close was it to your head? It was very close. Like it was very close. I just remember being like, oh wow, he meant to hit me. How hard did it appear that Mr. Combs threw the computer? Hard. What did you do after he threw the computer? I ran out of the trailer and went and hid behind like the luggage van. Are these all the times that Mr. Combs threw things at you? Or just some of them? Just some of them. And how did you feel when Mr. Combs threw things at you? Terrified and so humiliated and confused. Like what? What did I do so? Like, what did I do so wrong that something is wrong with me that I would make him so upset? That is a problem. Something is wrong with me that I would make him so upset is a problem. Were there times in which Mr. Combs physically injured you? Yes. When did that happen? Once at Cassie's apartment, like we talked about earlier. Yes. Where else do you remember Mr. Combs hurting you? Turks and Caicos. Okay, so let's take those in turn. You mentioned in Turks and Caicos. Was that the same Turks trip that you testified earlier? Yes. And where were you when this happened in Turks? I was sleeping in a hammock on the little porch behind my bedroom. Did there come a time when you were woken up? Yes. And how did you wake up? I woke up in shock by it was an ice bucket, but it was like a jumbo, huge size metal one, like full of ice. Like the whole thing dumped on me. And who dumped this ice bucket on you? Puff. What did Mr. Combs do after dumping this on you? He was like screaming at me about something and then like snatched my phone. How did you respond to getting this ice dumped in you? I was in shock. I like jolted up and had no idea what was happening. What did you do after Mr. Combs took your phone? I panicked because I didn't want him to throw my phone and I like jumped on his back. And why didn't you want Mr. Combs to throw your phone? Because our internal team, personal team, we would keep each other like aware of his like moods. I mean, and like help each other out. So sometimes those weren't really worded the nicest. And I was like, I didn't want him to like find me, I guess, like talking shit about him because I didn't know what that would do. So you jumped on his back. Yeah. And then what did he do after you jumped on his back? He threw me into the backwards into the pool. Mia, let's focus on the next incident. Is that the Revolt TV? Not Revolt Film. Correct. And where was that office located? It was on Hollywood and Highland in Los Angeles. Had you been there before? If I had, only like once because I didn't remember. I wasn't familiar with if it hadn't been like a lot. Like I wasn't familiar with the area of the building. And when approximately was this? I think it was 2012. I'm so bad with the years. Are you estimating sometime around 2012? I think so. And what were you doing with Mr. Combs at the Revolt office? Puff like enlisted me to help him at the beginning of developing the network. And so he had me there for some sort of like come to Jesus meeting with everybody from Revolt Network. And what did he ask you to do? He told me to get somebody on the phone, but on my phone. Okay, so what happened after you got someone on the phone? I was following pretty closely to him because Derek, his stylist, had just asked me how's Puff's mood because he had to meet with him. Damn. It's like the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland. And I said something like I said something not so nice, I guess. Probably like he's being a jerk or an asshole or something like that. And so I was following really closely, I guess, obviously, because I didn't want him to. I wanted to like get the phone back after he hung up so he didn't see it. So what did Mr. Combs do with the phone? He started like looking at me and he was like, why are you following me so close? He's like, what do you do? What do you got on this phone? And then he ran away. And when he ran away, did he take the phone with him? Yes. Did you follow him? Yes. Where did he go? He ran into the bathroom. Did you run into the bathroom too? Yes. What happened in the bathroom? I got like partially in, like my arm got in the door and he was like, he slammed it on my arm. And at first I thought like it was an accident, but then he did it multiple more times. Fuck. God, I felt that. I felt that shit. Like, yeah. And how heavy was the door? It was like a commercial building, so it was pretty heavy. And did you have any injuries from him slamming the door onto your arm? Yeah. I thought at first like there was no way this isn't going to be broken, but I just had bruises. And what did Mr. Combs do after he slammed the door on your arm? He bolted right past me and ran down the fire stairs of the building out the road. Did he leave? Yeah, that's real crackish. That's some crackhead shit. You take this woman's phone, you slam her arm into the doors, you take out the bathroom on the fire escape and run down the street. And did you have your phone with him? Yes. And at some point later that day, did you see Mr. Combs? Yes. Where did you see him? At the studio. What, if anything, did Mr. Combs say to you at the studio? He came outside and said something along the lines of like, yeah, I wouldn't want someone going through my phone if I had what you had in there. But I sent all of your like compromising or inappropriate or naked or something like this photos to my phone so that I got something on you in case you got something on me. Or just like, you know, because you got stuff on me, like kind of as a bullying joke. But how did you take it? I was relieved because I knew he was lying and he didn't see the message from me and Derek. But yeah, did you in fact have compromising photos of yourself on your phone? No. And so Mr. Combs said to you, now you have something. Now I have something on you, like you have something on me. What did you understand that to mean? Oh, just like because I was so like enmeshed in his life. And, you know, he would always give me his phone or his computer or something like that. I don't know. That kind of like, I know some of his secrets or I've seen some of his stuff. I don't know that now, now. Were you aware of anything specific he was referring to? No, I was just always, nothing specific. Just like I was like, like, damn, I think she's just super nervous. So like never really could like get leave his side. So I obviously knew. Had you ever tried to use anything like that against Mr. Combs? Oh, no, never. So they're pulling up an email. Just remind us who is Tony. She might have been the chief of staff at this time. Who sent this message? I did. And who did you send it to? To Tony and Shannon. What did you say? Puff took my phone and left me on the street in Hollywood. My iPhone is in his car. Not sure when or if he'll get back. Why were you sending this message? Because I had to keep everybody aware of Puff movements at all times in order to make sure he got around or, everybody was in position. And then plus also the office would send me a million things I had to ask him constantly. So I didn't want Tony or Shannon to think that I was not being responsive to them because I had to respond like constantly. What did you say in response? I found Revolt, thank goodness, because I was a little lost and barefoot. What are you talking about here? That I was on the street barefoot and I was lost and I finally found the offices again. So after Mr. Combs ran out of Revolt with your phone, what did you do? I threw off my heels and I ran after him. And where did he go? He meandered through some like dark streets and then like dove into his car and his driver and him drove away. And then Tony asked you the next what happened. How did you respond? Def an in-person story. Anyone want to pick me up from the studio? I don't know where he is. And what do you mean an in-person story? I would never tell anybody these sorts of stories, especially on email, because, and if there were any stories that could include violence, I would omit those. But I would keep like Tony and Shannon sometimes, like aware of, again, like his moods or whatever sort of situation it was. And why would you omit the violence when you would inform other people about this? Oh, because I would never tell anybody that. Did you ever talk amongst the inner team about these things? If they saw it. So who are the kinds of people you would talk to about violence like this? D-Rock, sometimes Derek, or I guess like sometimes Matt. Yeah, just like people who have been around, like would witness things. And who is Matt? Matt, it was Puff's engineer. And what, if anything, was your relationship with Matt? Oh, at one point we dated. Mia, can we take that down? We've now talked about several instances in which Mr. Combs was physically violent. How did you feel in those occasions? Terrified, humiliated, embarrassed. Again, like I didn't know like what I did wrong. And in a weird way, like I didn't know why I deserved it. But I made a lot of excuses for him in my head. Afternoon break, the break. Blah, blah, blah. Mia's back. Mia, you testified earlier that Mr. Combs sexually assaulted you multiple times. Yes. Did you ever want to engage in sexual activities with Mr. Combs? No. Okay, trigger warning. We're about to get into some more we're about to get back into some. Hold on. Somebody said, Mims, you must ain't have no money for NYC. No. So some stuff happened at home. I was only supposed to be in NYC for 1 week. My sister is ill and my friend is in a medically induced coma. So I needed to come back home, get some stuff in order, but I am going back to New York Monday and staying for the duration of the trial. But who was that? Really? If you want to send me some money from NYC, you're more than welcome to do so. Okay, let's go back. Y'all, we've been doing this for a minute. Let's see. We should have 4,000. We have 4,000 people in here. We should have 4,000 likes. We only have 2,000 likes, but y'all have been 4,000 deep with me for this whole thing. And we should definitely, our goal is at least 225 by the end of the trial. So if you're in here and you're listening, definitely subscribe to the channel. This is not an easy read, guys. So yeah, let's try to, we have 4,000 people in here. We could be at 212,000 by the end of this live. And we should be at a lot more likes too. Thank you guys. Okay, we're about to get in, trigger warning. We're about to get into some really deeply personal testimony. Did you ever want to engage in any sexual activity with Mr. Combs? No. Over what period of time did the sexual assaults occur? I'm not sure over the years, but they were sporadic. Were they sporadic during your employment, Mr. Combs? Yes. Where was Cassie when these sexual assaults occurred? Not there. Did you tell her about them? No. Where were you the first time you remember Mr. Combs sexually assaulting you? At the Plaza Hotel in New York, for his 40th birthday party. For whose 40th? For Puff's 40th. Why were you at the Plaza Hotel? Because I was working. Were you Mr. Combs' personal assistant at the time? Yes, I was very new. Approximately how long had you been working for Mr. Combs at this point? Just a few months. How much of the hotel had Mr. Combs rented out for his birthday party? I believe it was the whole thing. Where was Mr. Combs physically located at the party? He had like a penthouse suite, and then there downstairs of the hotel was where the main party was. So he was going back and forth between. Was there a time when Mr. Combs was in the penthouse? Yes. Did there come a time when you went to the penthouse? Yes. Why? Because we had to stay within his eyesight and earshot. When both you and Mr. Combs were in the penthouse, who else was there? A lot of people. Malcolm, whoever was working at the time, and then other party guests, celebrities. Was Cassie there? No. What did Mr. Combs do when you were in the penthouse? At some point, he asked to speak to me in the kitchen. After he asked to speak to you in the kitchen, what did he do? I guess he had everybody else clear the room. Did you end up going into the kitchen? Yes. Who was in the kitchen with you and Mr. Combs? Just us. What did Mr. Combs tell you in the kitchen? He was saying that he noticed what a good job I was doing and that I didn't have to be nervous or scared to come to him because at that time I was just going through Malcolm, the other assistant, to ask questions, or I wasn't really like going direct to Puff. And he was saying that he had noticed I was doing a great job and that like sort of like we were going to be working closer together. So we should, things like that. What, if anything, did Mr. Combs offer you when you were in the kitchen? He poured us shots of vodka to cheers for his birthday. How many shots did he give you? I think 2. What did you do with the shots? I took them. Had you been drinking earlier that night? Not that I can recall, but if so, like it wasn't affecting. It was just like it wasn't affecting me. How did these shots that you took with Mr. Combs make you feel? I remember thinking like, whoa, did I not eat or something because they affected me? Like I felt like they had hit me kind of hard. How did the shots normally make you feel at this point in your life? I was in my 20s in New York. 2 shots would have not made me feel that way. What did Mr. Combs do after you took the shots? He was still talking, and I just remember my back. I was like standing against the wall. I just remember he was talking and all of a sudden his face got closer. Like I remember my eyes couldn't like focus on his face because it was so close and I didn't really know what was happening. And he put his arm next to my head and against the wall and like leaned in to like kiss me and put his other hand up the side of my dress. I just want to make sure I have this straight. Did Mr. Combs kiss you at this point? Yeah. Did you want Mr. Combs to kiss you? No. Did Mr. Combs put his hand up your dress? Yes. Did you want him to do that? No. Were you able to tell Mr. Combs no in that moment? No. Why not? I was shocked and I froze. I didn't even process what was happening. What is the next thing that you remember happening after Mr. Combs kissed you? My next like memory is just I remember being in a chair like in the main room in the penthouse and like coming to the chair and the sun was coming up. When you came to, were you clothed? Yes. Was anyone else around? I don't really remember. In my memory, I don't see anyone. At this point in time when Mr. Combs kissed you, what did you think about Mr. Combs' role? He was my boss. He was a very powerful person. He was like, to me, he is a younger than my dad, but I looked at him like an older, like an adult. He was the boss or the king, very powerful person. Mia, earlier you said the next thing you remember is coming to on a chair in the penthouse. Do you remember how you got from the kitchen to the main penthouse? No. What do you mean when you say you like came to? That's just my next memory. What were your expectations about whether something like this would happen? I thought it would never happen again. I thought, oh my gosh, he was so drunk and I will never tell anybody. It was probably like a huge accident, or I was sort of like, I knew the confidentiality and I was just kind of like, I don't want that to, I thought he would have never remembered and that it was a huge accident and I was going to act like nothing happened. Were there other times after this incident at Plaza Hotel, Mr. Combs made you feel uncomfortable? Yes. Approximately how long after his 40th birthday party? I don't know how long it was, but I remember how I felt as far as like I was still relatively new. So I was still relatively new, but it wasn't like right after. I don't know. Could have been months. Where were you the next time you remember this happening? I was in New York at his apartment. At whose apartment? At Puff's apartment. Why were you at Mr. Combs' apartment? Because at the end of the, whenever Puff was done for the day or night or whatever, anybody went upstairs to like drop off his bags and set him up. And I was the one with his bags. When you got to the apartment to do that, did you see any other employees? Downstairs outside was his driver and security. Who from security was there? Uncle Polly. What, if anything, did Uncle Polly say to you? Objection. Hold on. Grounds. Hearsay. It's for the effect of the listener, Your Honor. Overruled. What, if anything, do you remember Uncle Polly saying to you? He said something that made me feel like super uncomfortable. At first, I was going up to the apartment. I didn't think anything. And then he said something like, not like a warning or like be careful, but something like, I have seen this before. It was something that like made my inner alarms go off. Where did you go after speaking with Uncle Polly? I had to go upstairs with his bags. With whose bags? With Puff's bags. When you went upstairs, where was Mr. Combs? He was in the apartment. Where in the apartment? In the foyer. What did Mr. Combs tell you to do? I was just dropping off the bags. Then he asked me to pull something up on the computer for him really quickly. What did you do after he asked you for that? I went into his living room and he had like a U-shaped couch there wasn't much space in the apartment, but that's where you would basically be in. I went to the far end and pulled up whatever he asked for. What did Mr. Combs do when you were pulling up this on your computer? He came and sat next to me and then he like leaned over leaned over me almost to like look, put his face in the computer, but this was like in an uncomfortable way. Aside from Mr. Combs had kissed you and put his hands up your dress, had he ever been that close to you? No. How did you feel when he was leaning over you? There was something inside of me that was like, sounded the alarm bells. Like I felt really uncomfortable, but I didn't know how to behave because I didn't want to make a big deal of it if it was nothing. What did you do next? I faked like I said, oh, I have to go to the bathroom so bad, like I had to pee. And I got up and like ran to the bathroom. What happened after you went to the bathroom? He was like, okay, well, see you tomorrow. And he let me go for the night. So I thought, see, he wasn't trying to do anything. I just convinced myself that was objection overruled. Let's get a new question. How did this incident make you feel? When he let me go, I felt like, okay, see, like he wasn't trying to do anything. That is all in my head. That was just some silly joke that Uncle Paulie was saying. I felt crazy and felt safe again. Mia, you mentioned earlier that Mr. Combs sexually assaulted you on multiple occasions. What were the next time you remember Mr. Combs assaulting you? Beverly Grove. That's a house in Los Angeles. Yes. And he was in that house approximately 2009 to 2010. Yes. Where were you in the Beverly Grove house? The room I stayed in was upstairs. When did Diddy's 40? When did Diddy turn 40? November 19, 2009. Okay. Where were you in the Beverly Grove house? The room I stayed in was upstairs in a room with the bunk beds. So I was asleep on the bottom bunk bed. Did you lock the door to the room? No. Remind the jury why not. Objection overruled. Why didn't you lock the door to your room? Because I wasn't allowed to. That was his house and you can't lock his doors. And who did not allow you to lock the door? Puff. Did there come a time at a point in time when you woke up? Yes. What caused you to wake up? The weight of a person on top of me. Who was on top of you? Puff. What do you remember happening when Mr. Combs was on top of you? I remember it was sort of like him telling you that somehow be quiet and using this just happened so fast, using like one hand to get, I guess his hands or whatever off. What did he do when he used that hand to get his hands undone? I think they meant pants undone. He put himself inside of me. So you said he put himself inside of you. Is that right? Yes. Do you mean that he put his penis inside of you? Yes. How did you react when that happened? I just froze. I didn't react. How did you feel? Terrified and confused and ashamed. Did you want to have sex with Mr. Combs? No. How long was this assault? It was very quick, but felt like forever. How did it end? I don't remember, but I know that he didn't like leave the job unfinished. He wouldn't leave a job unfinished. Yeah, whenever he was done or satisfied or got what he wanted. Is that when it would end? Yes. Mia, where were you the next time you remember Mr. Combs sexually assaulting you? I was at the Beverly Crest house. What were you doing at the Beverly Crest house? We were like getting him ready to go to like a meeting or run out of the house. So I was on his bedroom closet floor, like putting stuff in a bag. Who was in the bedroom closet with you? I thought nobody or people were always in and out, like running in and out, but then Puff. Did there come a point in a time when Mr. Combs came into the closet? Yes. What did Mr. Combs do when he got into the closet? I wasn't paying attention. It wasn't going so fast, but the next thing I looked up and he was like standing right in front of me, in front of my face. And what happened when Mr. Combs was standing right in front of your face? He had his penis out and he like grabbed my head and put it in there. So Mr. Combs took his penis out. Is that right? Yes. And did he grab your head and pull it toward him? Yes. Did he put his penis in your mouth? Yes. How did you react when that happened? I just froze. I didn't do anything. I just let it happen. How did you feel when Mr. Combs put his penis in your mouth? Like trash and scared and ashamed and defeated and like an idiot. Did you want to give Mr. Combs oral sex? No. And how long did this last? It was very fast, really fast. Mia, other than what we have described so far, were there any other times when Mr. Combs sexually assaulted you? Yes. Sitting here today, do you remember the details of those assaults? No. What generally do you remember? I just remember a feeling, like a specific, horrible, dark-like feeling in my stomach that I would get surrounding like a certain like places, but I don't remember. Can you describe an example of a memory you have with that kind of dark feeling? I remember one time we were flying on a private jet and everyone was asleep. Our team was asleep. And in the back between the main like area and the bathroom, there was like a separate place where there was a bed that he would get to sleep. And it was normal. If you had to go to the bathroom, you just walked through there and it was like, yeah, everyone was asleep. I went to the bathroom and I remember when I opened the door that he was standing right there and like basically trying to push me back inside, which I don't remember what happened. You remember getting pushed back into the bathroom? Yeah. I remember trying to squiggle out of it like, no, 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 no. I would always, in order to get out of things like that, if I could ever, I would make it about other people that could potentially hear or see or whatever. I remember being like, no, no, no. It didn't work. So you sometimes used other people as a distraction to get out of sexual encounters. Yes. How did you feel in this instance when you realized you couldn't distract Mr. Combs or squiggle out of it, even when other people were around? Like helpless and like, I have lost some layer of protection and so I'm safe. Sitting here today, do you remember exactly what happened in the bathroom? No. Mia, was there ever a time in which you initiated sexual contact with Mr. Combs? No. Was there ever a time you told Mr. Combs you wanted to have sex with him? No. Let's see. Whew, y'all. I think this is a good stopping point. We have 15 more pages left, but I still have to reach out to management. Yeah, we're not gonna do one tomorrow morning, but when I get the transcript for tomorrow, we'll just add these 15 pages to that transcript. Plus, this is like really dark content, and I can only stomach so much. So, not overruled. That's good. But yeah, I need to I need to get some rest. So yeah, I will reconvene tomorrow. We still didn't get to our 4,000 likes, but that's okay, I guess. Maybe y'all will like the video on the way out. Thank you guys for being here. We will definitely be back tomorrow, and then come Monday, I will be back in court, and we'll be back to our regularly scheduled program where I can tell you exactly what happened in the courtroom and give you more of a synopsis and not this whole thing. So yeah, see y'all tomorrow.